At this time, we would like to honor the victims of the recent mass shooting in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. Our thoughts and prayers are with them and their families. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please remain standing as Reverend David Fife of Elmwood Avenue Baptist Church offers today's invocation.
Let us pray. Lord God, thank you for the opportunity to gather here at Watkins Glen International for this year's running of GoBowling.com at the Glen. We ask your blessing upon this race, Lord, with your hand of protection upon each driver, course worker, and crew member. Grant us a safe race and help us to remember that all good things come from you. Amen.
Here to perform the Canadian National Anthem, please welcome actress and singer Trina Vargas.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Here to honor America, please welcome United States Navy musician second class Rachel Venel, accompanied by Kevin Gallagher of Empire Interpreting Services as they perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Impressive on a breezy day, bringing the American flag down to the front stretch.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on. I was driving. Trees flew by. Me and Del were singing. Little runaway. I was flying. Yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery. Going where it leads. Running down a dream.
Monster Energy, NASCAR Cup Series racing from Watkins Glen. Go bowling at the Glen. And for some storylines before the engines get fired, let's go to pit road, and we'll start with Kelly Stavast.
Rick, 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson is not in position to make the playoffs, so the team has made a change at crew chief. Cliff Daniels will be calling the shots today for the first time. Jimmy told me Cliff has provided an instant spark to this team and said their communication is on another level, but no one expects this team to turn things around overnight. Instead, the 48 crew looking for a solid top 10 finish today, Dave.
Kelly, the run-up to the playoffs for Kyle Busch, it has been very good. 4 wins on the season already, and he's at a place that he loves, Watkins Glen. What better place to make up the 6 points he still lacks to Joey Logano for the regular season championship, Marty?
Dave talked to Brad Keselowski a moment ago. He said, honestly, I'm not sure we have the speed to be able to finish in the top 3 or even win this race today. But Watkins Glen is one of those races where it allows you a ton of strategy options. And no doubt the 2 team and Paul Wolfe, one of the best on pit road at making those strategy calls. So look for some interesting moves on pit road today to get track position, because, Rick, that is going to be huge.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. And that's one of the biggest reasons why Steve Letarte sits up here with his calculator, his pencil, piece of paper, and you're going to figure out maybe the best strategy. We'll find out which strategy works the best for those trying to get to victory lane. It's time to fire the engines. Let's go trackside for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome our Grand Marshals, members from the Go Bowling family, joined by President of the New York State Bowling Proprietors Association, Brian Borowski.
Drivers, start your engines. Let's go bowling at the Glen.
Stage is broken down. 20, 40, and then it's only a 90-lap race. It happens quick. Everybody's got to be on their toes. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by GoBowling. Go to GoBowling.com to find a center near you. Subway, make it what you want. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, perfect for race fans.
Fans jumping up and down, yelling, screaming, losing their minds here at Watkins Glen.
It'll forever be a special place. I mean, how could it not?
Chase driving the race of his life right now.
I felt like ending practice on Saturday, we could have a shot if things went our way.
Here comes Elliott to the inside. The crowd on their feet.
I felt like it was us, the 18 and the 78, and felt like it was going to be whoever executed the best amongst us three.
This race comes down to these two drivers.
Hey, we are in control of this race, and it's getting down to where it really counts.
He went wide in turn number 1.
I just remember thinking, all right, just don't mess up, and go into the first turn messed up.
Here he comes, cab back. It's still good, all clear.
Obviously, there was some really tough days, and some of those seconds were way tougher than others. To me, that's what kept the drive and kept the motivation.
Bring it home, just bring it home.
For the first time, Chase Elliott wins in the Monster Energy Cup Series.
A lot of satisfaction and certainly some relief.
That's one of many right here. Yeah, baby, yeah!
The fans are screaming, and I just felt like at Watkins Glen, people were genuinely excited to see us win. There's a lot of things that you don't really think about when you're in the moment, but looking back, just a day I'll never forget.
It all started 1 year ago. The wins did come afterwards. He's had 3 since then, 1 already here in 2019. And leading the field as the official pace car for today's race is the 2019 Toyota Camry. Want to take a look at the starting grid brought to you by KFC. That will roll across the bottom of the screen. Again, the front row you see there, Hendrick Motorsports cars, Chase Elliott and William Byron making up that first row. So many great places around this racetrack, such an incredible facility. And our man Rutledge Wood is going to be finding a bunch of spots all the way around the track to enjoy and take in all of the atmosphere. And he's got a group of friends around him again. Hey, Rut.
You know I do, Rick. This is an amazing spot. We're right here inside the track, inside turn 1. And, this is where all the action is going to happen as soon as that flag drops. I even found Kenny, the sunburn guy, who was hoping Chase Elliott gets back to victory lane. But I'm going to try to find all the great spots today to watch. But, Rick, this is one of the best. These fans love this track. They're surrounded all over the place, and you cannot find a better racetrack to go to and enjoy than this one right here at Watkins Glen, buddy.
Looks like a lot of fun. We know all the fans are going to enjoy themselves, and Rutt's going to make it even a better experience for those fans around. All right, Steve, let's take a look at the race breakdown. I mentioned earlier this is a short race, at least as far as lap-wise.
It is a short race at a great racetrack here at Watkins Glen. Just under 2.5-mile road course, 90 laps, 220-mile race. Think about this, about 9 shifts of laps. You can do the math. That's a ton of shifting. Stage 1 and Stage 2, both 20 laps in length, which leaves the final stage a little bit longer, 50 laps total. Fuel window 31 to 34. And get your calculator ready, Rick. It's going to be a 2-battery sort of day.
I'm letting you do all the math,
right,
Steve.
all right.
I'll let you do all the math. Well, today's joyride in the Toyota Camry on-track car actually has Kyle Petty filling in for Jeff Burton, and his passenger is David Badaya. He's a 3-time Olympian competing in individual and synchronized diving. Most of his career was on the platform, but he's transitioning to the springboard, and I'm telling you, the Purdue University Boilermaker is going to have a heck of a ride now. All right, KP, show him a good ride around Watkins Glen.
Here we go, David. This is all on you, man.
Oh, baby.
We got some cars in front of us here. We're going to have to get around them.
Oh, we'll pass them.
What are you feeling right now, man?
I mean, you can feel it in your chest. Oh, man. I probably couldn't have another driver taking me down this track right now.
How's this feel?
These turns are crazy.
You said you were more nervous than in the Olympic finals.
Look, the preparation towards it, your heart's beating out of your chest. Now that we're doing it, it's like going into the final knowing you got it.
Man, how does it feel when you dive? I mean, this is like diving into turn 7 here, or whatever corner this is.
Look, I was telling you earlier, I got to be on for 1.4 seconds, 6 times. You're on the whole time like this.
Yeah. Listen, man, good luck. Good luck in everything. One time, gold medal winner, silver medalist, 2 times bronze. It's like being with Jimmy Johnson, man. Thanks for riding.
Please, thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, man.
I love the smile on their faces. That's the best part. How about KP? The steering wheel got a little loose on him there when he was coming into the inner loop.
He had me nervous. David was a little calmer than I'd be. He must have not. I suggest any passenger that's going to ride with Kyle Petty needs to do some Google search before they strap in. But fun times for sure.
Looks like a lot of fun. And obviously, we had a lot of fun there riding along with KP and David. Now we're going to ride along with a few different drivers, right, guys?
Yeah, guys, we're going to have Ryan Priest here in the 47, starting at 29th. The Kroger Camry, he's going to be carrying us along the front bumper right on top of the racetrack here. It's going to be some awesome camera shots from that. Also, Daniel Suarez with the Coca-Cola cam. He also has that helmet camera we love so much, started back in P18.
And that Kevin Harvick, the Mobile One cam, right on top of his car. We'll see some great shots from there. But check this one out. We got the foot cam. We're going to watch that footwork Kevin Harvick uses all day long. And then also Martin Truex Jr., the road course king lately. The Toyota cam. You can expect to see this car out front all day long.
All right, well, let's go back to pit road, and we'll check in with some more of the storylines. We'll start with Kelly.
And Rick, we just heard Jeff Burton call Martin Truex Jr. the road course king, and that's because his numbers as of late have been staggering. 4 top 2 finishes in the last 5 races, 3 of those wins. He told me it's because crew chief Cole Pern knows what kind of cars to give him to win these races, but he also told me he comes carrying a lot of confidence. Today he feels really good about the long run speed in that 19 Toyota. Dave?
Kelly, Kyle Larson is 37 points above the playoff cut line. That's fairly comfortable, but you heard what he said to us in Countdown to Green. The objective today, not to crash. He's got to protect and not finish way down in the order and give all that cushion up. He's always run well here, never failed to finish a race, Marty.
Dave, Watkins Glen is a 2.45-mile road course, so a lot of teams will use 4 spotters around this course. Not Chase Elliott and his team. They just used 2. Eddie DeHaan, his normal spotter, and over in the bus stop, just like last year, his dad, Bill Elliott. There you see him with the hat, the Napa hat on, and kind of getting a moment here of praying before the race begins for Chase. He helped guide him to his first win here at Watkins Glen last year. I talked to Bill about it yesterday. He said, listen, if I'm talking, that's bad. I want to talk as little as I can. If I'm not talking, that means Chase is running well. Going to be fun to watch dad, watch son try and win for back-to-back races here at Watkins Glen.
Thanks, Marty. It's time now for the Subway Fresh Take. We heard Marty mention 2.45 miles. Let's get you a little more familiar with the track. Jeff, take us around it.
It's a great racetrack. This is huge. Turn 1, a great passing zone. It's downhill into turn 1. That downhill continues all the way to the bottom of the S's. Turn 2, you're in turn 2 right now. You're approaching turn 3 is the left-hander. The right-hander coming up is turn 4. That leads to that incredibly long straightaway where you're going to go down to the inner loop where Dale Jr. is located. Look how long that straightaway is. Tons of braking into the inner loop. 2 cars side by side here, spells trouble. They leave the inner loop, this long right-hander, turn 5, better known as the carousel. It lasts forever. And if you don't do it well, it completely messes you up for this second longest straightaway on this racetrack right here. And that leads to turn 6 where I am. A heavy braking corner, turn 6. That leads to turn 7, a very, very tight right-hander that leads to the front straightaway. This is not a ton of corners on a road course, but it's exceptionally fast and challenging, perfect for all the drivers to deal with.
And we're looking forward to watching these incredible drivers negotiate throughout all of the twists and turns that the Glen present to them. Well, it's been well documented. Cliff Daniels is now the crew chief for the 48 team and Jimmy Johnson. Let's listen into the radio.
All right, guys, let's jump on the wall, get ready to kick this thing off. Jimmy, we got your back all day. Let's be smart, be patient, execute when we can, and let's go have some fun, all right?
The poor boys can't wait.
I like that. not only his first ever time up top the pit box, but the youngest active crew chief at 31 years old. I think the biggest challenge for Cliff is going to be just that, being the leader of this race team. I know when I became the crew chief for Jeff Gordon, he told me to be the leader, to be in charge, but it's so difficult when that driver is your mentor, is the guy that kind of helped raise you, and I feel like that's the same way with Jimmy Johnson. He's worked with Jimmy for so long, Cliff has, that he knows him and he trusts him, but he has to be the leader of the ship. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out for the 48. You know, interesting point, Marty mentioned 2 spotters for the 9. Had a little talk with Jimmy Johnson's spotter. They actually are using 5 spotters, if you can believe that. So they have spotters all around the racetrack. Just tells you so many different opinions on how to be successful here.
Well, the different times around the track that they could be around traffic. So there's so many different areas that maybe the driver would need a little assistance knowing if someone is coming up on their back bumper.
And this is what's changed. You know, in years past, it was get it sorted out and kind of settle in. Not anymore. When they wave the green flag right here, it is full attack mode for everyone at the front of the field.
You don't want to be a bowling pin when you have the GoBowling at the Glen, meaning you don't want to get hit, but there will be some contact around this race course. Engines fired up, going through the gears. Green flag is out as they dive into turn 1. Chase Elliott has the advantage. Right behind it, William Byron and the 18 of Kyle Busch settling into 3rd.
Here they come now through turns 1 and 2. The S's, everyone scattering further back, but Chase Elliott up front, out front, and into the lead as they work their way through the S's for the first time this afternoon. Through turns 2, 3, and 4, Chase Elliott leads them up the back straightaway.
Chase Elliott with a comfortable lead over his teammate William Byron into the braking zone of the bus stop. Everybody coming through there single file except back here around 3rd, 4th, 5th place. Looks like these guys are all stacked up behind Brad Keselowski out of the bus stop. A lot of guys having to give and take quite a bit right there to get through there cleanly. They single file through the carousel.
Yeah, through the carousel. They were single file, but right here at the end of this line, they're side by side, trying to make it 3 wide. That's not going to work. They're going to have to single it out. Now they're starting to get single file right along with Suarez into this left-hander, which is turn 6. Approaching turn 7, not a very good pass is open, although an attempt for the pass. Can Suarez take advantage of this, make it 3 wide on the front straightaway?
Going to try to follow Joey Logano up here on the inside of that 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Suarez in the 21. Or 41, right behind. Around goes Kyle Busch. The 18 spins through 1. He gets it straightened back out again and headed the right direction.
And everybody scatters behind him, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. Kyle Busch will find his place in line in turns 2 and 3, right behind Eric Almirola. He came off the end of the front straightaway to the inside of William Byron racing for 2nd. Kyle losing the handle on that multicolored Toyota, spinning down to the inside. But what a tip of the cap to the rest of the field to not get checked up and go piling in when Kyle Busch loses control in turn 1. Dale Jr.
Yeah, we're back in the carousel here. Kyle Busch seems to have gathered things up really, really lucky not to get any damage there. More damage than he has to his car. Seems like he's got away cleanly. No flat spots. Everything's good.
It's got to be a little bit of a concern. Did he do any damage to those tires? Just overheating them with that spin. But really, you think about it, you spun in turn 1 at the beginning of this race and still running in 10th position with no damage. I would say he has to feel fairly fortunate in an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, Jeff, a lucky break for the 18 to not make any contact. Hopefully he can stay lucky, as Dale Jr. mentioned. See if those tires hold up and they're secure. You absolutely do damage as they spin around. But basically, just too hot, cooked it into the bottom of turn 1, Bagley, and lost control.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson closer to the front of the field. He's running in the 5th position. You're looking on board with Martin Truex Jr., who rides in 6th. Truex, the road racing ace, angling up behind Larson at the exit of the exit.
He's not close enough to be able to do anything in this braking zone. Going to have to be a little closer than that. You don't even see him really make much of a gain. Larson with good speed in the braking zone. Look at him slide the car and hang the car out through the inner loop. Man, that 42 car is really yawed out, really loose. The back of the car swinging around through the corners, but Truex gains a little bit through the carousel.
And that's something we've seen from Kyle Larson in this team. They've been very good qualifiers on road courses, but have not had the long run speed. They're going to have to get the back of that car settled down or it'll eat the rear tires off of it. Truex is going to apply pressure. He knows the back of the car is not hooked up, so he wants to put as much pressure on him as he possibly can.
Rick, that's the question. 1 lap speed is one thing. but now these guys are going to be expected to make 10, 15, 20, 25 lap runs. So will the car continue to handle as good as the 19 here, who pulls to the bottom of the 42, but the 42 contests the pass?
Battle for 5th position. Larson has it. Truex in the 19 trying to take it away. He'll pull to the inside of the entrance to turn number 2, slide underneath Larson. He'll go to position number 4, and he's got a lot of ground to make up. He's 6.7 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, behind Larson now, Brad Keselowski closes in. He wants to try to take advantage of the 42 car as well and try to get by that 42 car. No real opportunity right now. Faces him off here in the carousel, trying to close in. Seems to be able to close the gap just a little bit. See if he can gain on him on corner exit, get the throttle down, be able to make a move. Not as wide as Larson. Larson really driving that car hard. Yeah, Larson's using all of the racetrack that's available to you off that carousel. Now, see that battle, Kyle Busch passing his brother into turn 6. Dave.
And Jeff, he'll make his way back up to the front. Kyle's so good and so smooth here as long as all 4 tires stay up. And they said only a little scuff off the left front of the Goodyear sign on the left front tire there, so no big deal. But Steve, the question now is, if you're Adam Stevens and he told his driver better not to pit here, strategies changed so much. What would you do with this running just inside the top 10 now?
Well, as reported, lucky for the 18, if you can believe it, he spun out and he only fell back to 8th. So I think at this point, it is whatever strategy Adam Stevens was thinking from the beginning of the day. Sounds like the tires are fine. The dent on the left front fender is very small. So I think it's not panic. Stay the course with your strategy.
5 laps in, and we have already seen cars get airborne. Yes, that's right. In flight, the 9, all 4 tires off the ground, and the spin by the 18 of Kyle Busch. It's Chase Elliott still in front. Coming up on lap 8, Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing. Go bowling at the Glen. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers all race long. Select up to 8 different cameras, or you can watch 4 at one time. Just go to NASCAR.com/drive. This is a great camera shot right here. The Kroger cam for Ryan Preece as he dives into turn number 1. Marty?
Hey guys, problem for Eric Almirola. Certainly good points position, no doubt about that. Plus 94 coming in above the cut line. But an issue here very early in the Watkins Glen race. Take a listen on the radio.
The shifter's getting ready to break off. Swiveling inside the housing in the circle. Hold on, we got another one ready.
So what they're going to do on the stop here, Steve, is Trevor Adams, who's the interior guy, is going to hop in the car, change out that shifter whenever they can for Eric Almirola. Checked in with Chad Haney, the car chief. They think they can get it done, but they would love to do it under a caution. So what kind of predicament does that put the 10 team in here very early in the race?
Well, the first predicament is hope he's right with his prediction, that it just needs to be swapped. There's no way the driver can tell if it's the handle, the mechanism underneath. There's a boot that basically goes over the shifter that protects the driver from any fire that happens underneath the race car. So there's a lot you can't see, and it's not easy to work on. This is a track that these drivers are going to shift 9 times per corner. That's over 800 shifts over the course of this race. So they're going to have to definitely try to resolve this as quick as possible.
Here they come up into the S's, shifting forward and watching Brad Keselowski. He's running into 7th position right now, but Dale Jr., his hands are full. Kyle Busch is in attack mode.
And Kyle's looking low here in the braking zone, trying to pressure Brad into a mistake. No mistake by Keselowski. Man, I'm real surprised at how much the back of these cars are moving around. Brad, right on the tailpiece of the 2 car. Look at the 18, man. He's pressuring him hard. No mistake still. Brad, he's cold as ice. Oh, look, there it is. There's a mistake headed to you. Yeah, so now can Kyle take advantage of it. He's showing him that he wants the spot. Just shows the nose. Brad Wisely says, you know what, you had to run. I'm going to give it to you. Now Kyle's got to check his speed up a little bit. Just don't let him cross you over. Hit your marks. That's the way you do it. Pressure him, make him make a mistake, take the spot.
Kyle Busch moves up to 7th now. Again, he was in 3rd when he spun in turn 1, dropped all the way down to 10th. He's passed a couple cars, up into the top 7 now. Everyone's still chasing after Chase Elliott, though, but a great battle there for 7th and 8th.
It comes into turn 2. Now Kyle's gotten around Brad Keselowski to take that 7th spot, and he's a very methodical road course racer. Very smooth through the S's, hugging the curves to the inside of turn 3. Now to the inside of turn number 4. He's got a lot of ground to make up.
Big battle right here. Oh, look out. The 24 Byron almost cleans out the 11. Both of them trying to go through there side by side. We talked about that in the pre-race. It ends badly usually. Very, very lucky right there for Byron. He wouldn't give up that position in the braking zone. I think maybe Hamlin surprised him a little bit there. And William Byron ran so well at Pocono, running well today. But Denny Hamlin, how about Denny Hamlin? One last week, but check this move out right here. Into that inner loop, pulls to the inside. I think it's just a side. Well, who's going to take this spot, Junior? Yeah, I think it was just a little bit of a... It was a move where I don't think Denny got there far enough deep in the zone for the 24 to even give it up. He gave him plenty of room. He knows he's there, but they both committed in the braking portion of that area of the track and could not back up any further. Could not really give that position to the 11 getting in the corner. Very, very lucky.
Kelly.
And Denny Hamlin had been hunting down William Byron slowly but surely. He'd been turning some of the fastest laps on the track, and as he said, comes here off a win last week. The timing of that epic, because 2 weeks ago he lost in that side-to-side battle with Kevin Harvick. So they said it was nice to get the bitterness out of their mouth from that near win a couple weeks ago. But they felt like they had a top 3 car and a chance to win this one today, and now he's in the runner-up position.
Of Kyle Busch has made his way past Kyle Larson. We had mentioned earlier he was in 7th, now up to 6th.
Yeah, Kyle Busch, he is exceptionally fast. Fastest lap on the racetrack, that last lap. He's trying to make that ground up. Lost on the first lap. Does not want to get behind, and then that hurt him with his strategy, Steve.
Yeah, he wants to try to catch back up to help his crew chief out. As you see, William Byron got passed by the 11 last lap, and now he's under pressure by the 11's teammate, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. as they climb the hill.
William Byron, after getting swept up in the S's a couple of laps ago, finds a new challenger at the back door, and that challenger is Martin Truex Jr. Byron running in 3rd, Truex Jr. in fourth. Truex, though, a little ground to make up before he can challenge for that third spot.
Yeah, he's not close enough to do much here, not even really pressure the 24 into a mistake. See him closing the braking zone there. A lot of great speed on the entry to the bus stop. Great on throttle as well. Good drive off at the bus stop where the cars are really edgy right there. He's rolling real slow right here, trying to pedal the throttle, trying to get the throttle down out across that curve. You see how rough it is on the driver crossing that curve. And check out his shifting. All right, see where he is right now, third gear. Now he's going to go down to second. No clutch required in these cars. Just give it a little bit of throttle. Will not have to downshift into turn 7. Going to leave turn 7, going down the front straightaway. There'll be an upshift and a downshift.
Martin Truex Jr. continues to march toward the front. He's up in the 4th position now, and he's going by that 24 of William Byron, so 3rd now for Martin Truex Jr. So Chase Elliott out in front as we go NASCAR nonstop from the Glen. You're watching Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Watkins Glen. That Monster Energy #1 of Kurt Busch currently running in the 10th position.
And don't forget, coming up Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to be tuned in to SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. Our weekly NBC Sports on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio conversation. This week, A.J. Allmendinger will stop by. We'll talk about that debacle in the simulator the other day. And we'll also talk about that great run he had here at Watkins Glen yesterday and preview next weekend's racing action as well.
Well, as we're right on board the Moto 1 camera for the 4 of Kevin Harvick, completing lap 15, working lap 16. Rick, we said it was going to be a 2-battery day for the calculator. It's getting ready to start right away. When you talk about road courses and how you call the strategy, the most important thing for the fan to understand is you normally can come to pit road and not lose a lap. That means you want to pit before the caution comes out. Well, in stage racing, the drivers, the crew chiefs, they know in 5 more laps the caution will come out. So somewhere here at lap 17, maybe the leader at lap 18, we expect cars to hit pit road. The concern this year is that the fuel mileage is worse. So these guys are going to have to really stretch the tank if they want to stop before the stage, or maybe they'll get crazy, take tires now and fuel only at the stage, but it all opens up here in about another lap.
Yeah, you see Michael McDowell and Joey Logano having a little fierce battle out there between those guys trying to fight for 13th. So, Steve, a lot of the leaders are saying they want to go to the end of the stage. If you watch last year's race, you're right, everybody's hit it on lap 17, but this year the leaders saying they may go to the end of the stage. So my question to you, why is that the case this year and wasn't the case last year?
It's that big spoiler on the back of these cars. It's just hurting the drag. What does that mean? It's like they're pushing a big dump truck or a tractor trailer. It takes more fuel. Simple enough. Their fuel mileage isn't as good. It's uncomfortable. They're actually about 4 or 5 laps outside of the window of the pit that early, but you have to be aggressive at times. I think some people will take advantage.
McDowell trying to be aggressive with Buescher here, the 34 and 37. We're fighting for position. We also see Logano back into this mix for that 13th spot. Bowyer also involved here.
That battle comes to the S's, and they're lined up in nose-to-tail formation. There's Kevin Harvick. He's trying to find his way through, trying to get him on the back bumper of his teammate, Clint Bowyer. They exit turn 4 and head to the inner loop.
You can see just up there ahead, Logano peeking out a little bit, either trying to get a little air to the brakes so he can try to improve his braking zones, but not really in position to make a pass on McDowell. McDowell, a driving instructor at Bob Bondurant's school I went to in 1998 to get ready for Watkins Glen in the Xfinity Series. Pretty impressive road course ringer. Yeah, he's doing a great job. Look at the heat behind him. He's got great teams, great drivers that he's having to hold off. But check out this footwork from Kevin Harvick. Let's ride around with him. He's turn 6, leaving turn 7. So you heard right there, you heard the call from the pit crew. All right, hold the brakes hard into 7. A hard right down pit road.
And now a very busy location. Brad Keselowski heading into his stall. Marty.
Look at this host of cars coming down pit road. Steve's exactly right. You cannot connect the windows to make it on one more stop to the end of the race here unless you get a lot of caution. But what you can do, you know that stage break is coming, Dave. You could come back down and get fuel at that point and be even with everybody else.
Joey Logano, knowing that his car works well entering the corner, has troubles getting off of the corner. So a Phillips Sunoco fuel and or Goodyear tire change will help him out. Kevin Harvick on pit road as well. Mr. Blue Shoes today. We've been watching that. A lot of fun. Harvick also with service.
And now as they come off pit road, they'll blend right back out onto the track in between turn 1 and turn 2. So you see the traffic coming through turn 1 right now that they will have to deal with those guys. As Chase Elliott just came across the start-finish line, that means that pit road is closed now.
Yeah, pit road is closed, but look, I mean, they didn't lose a lap, but you see how close it is. You want to talk about a risk? Man, if the pit stop goes bad, if that thing falls off the jam, Chase Elliott is going to lap you. That would be a huge setback. With 2 to go, though, everyone has executed that well. But now, look, play nicely, guys. You can't have an issue because right there on the same straightaway is the leader of the race.
Yeah, all these guys file through the inner loop right here. They're just trying to get to the end of this stage, take care of their tires. No need to really hustle it and try to really race anyone. You want to get in a position if it's easy, yes, but you don't want to really abuse your car, abuse your tires. Yeah, that's exactly right, Junior. The goal here is not to pit when the caution comes out. This group could be the lead. Then the leader of the race will come out of this group. So why push your tires? The only goal here is to stay in front of Elliott. See, back on William Byron. William Byron, we're hearing he has grass on the grill, a lot of grass on the grill. Coming to 1 to go in this stage, Steve. That is a ton of grass. I wonder if they can make it this lap.
Well, the problem is pit road's closed. So if he pits right here, he's going to have a bigger issue. You see here how he got it. He straight lines the bus stop. Dale Jr., your spot on the racetrack is the popular place to have an issue. You see the 24 stays on the racetrack 1 more lap.
Steve, it looks also there could have maybe moved that splitter just a little bit. Raising that splitter up off the ground could affect the handling of that car.
Need to keep an eye on the temperatures. Keep an eye on the temperatures.
I agree with that, but unfortunately I'm not sure what he can do if they are climbing.
William Byron right now running in the 5th position. This is the final lap of stage 1 out front. Still Chase Elliott, who stayed on the racetrack. And again, expecting to come to pit road at the end of this stage. But a good battle here, which could be for the race lead, as all of those in front of this group will be coming to pit road on the stage end. So Logano just in front of Harvick. Those two separated by about 10 feet as they come through 7 for the final time.
Well, they have to make a whole nother lap. Remember, they're just in front of the leader, so this isn't their final time. They're just now getting the one to go because they're that far behind the leader who's just showing up. See, Chase Elliott right here will go on to win the stage, really uncontested.
So it's Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin will finish second. Go down to Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch. How about Jimmy Johnson needing those stage points, finishing in 6th. Larson, Eric Jones, Kurt Busch, and Eric Almirola rounding out the top 10 in stage 1. Chase Elliott right back where he was. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Ally. Do it right. And by Ace Hardware, the helpful place. Interesting turn of events that have taken place to start this race.
Listen, when you come to a road course, you have issues with the same people, it seems, every time. Right here at the 18 of Kyle Busch, this seems harmless to me. He gets underneath the 24 of William Byron. I thought this was no harm, no foul. I don't think Kyle Busch likes it. A few laps later, he sends the 24. We saw him go through the grass. We weren't sure how he got there. He got sent by the 18.
Okay. I finished it off. Okay, go sit around. Go sit around. And if I see that 18 come back around here without you knocking the of him, we're going to have a problem.
That was Chad Knaus to his driver, so then you see the damage. How did he get the damage? After the green and white checker, you see the 18 slowing down. William Byron goes up and runs into the back of him to show him his displeasure. The problem is the damage is all to the 24.
And Steve, we've heard this before, the crew chief getting mad, telling the driver to react. Listen, I don't blame him for being mad, but you got to let the driver handle it. If not, you end up with situations like this. Now, who came out on the short end of the stick? William Byron has a car that's destroyed. You got to let the driver handle it the way he feels is best. If not, you can walk into a fight that you end up losing.
So now the question is, as we see all these cars come to pit road, what is everyone going to do? Is everyone going to stay out, or some people going to take fuel? Big question mark here.
Well, Steve, the big picture, too. Also, William Byron, 62 points above the cutoff line for the playoffs. Kelly.
We'll start with Martin Truex Jr., who comes to pit road from the 3rd position. He said the 19 car is pretty good overall, but he feels like the other cars around him could roll the corners a little bit better. 4 Goodyear tires for him. Meanwhile, his teammate Denny Hamlin said that he's loose getting into turn 2, tight everywhere else, especially the bus stop. Marty?
So far, 22 laps have been run. Chase Elliott has led every one of them, bottom of your screen, and he thinks that 9 car can be even better. He said it's just okay, building tight in the right-handers, and he feels like he's losing too much time up through the S's. You see the right side tires going on, that track bar adjustment trying to help him out a little bit. It looks like the 9 will hold serve and win the race off pit road.
And we look at that race off pit road brought to you by Kroger, and Chase Elliott, he stays in the number 1 spot. Brad Keselowski, 23 positions, fuel only. Getting ready for the start of stage 2. GoBowling, they have been at the track all weekend long. And would you like to take a lap around Watkins Glen in that, a bowling pin? Well, I'm sure if anybody would do it, it would be Rutledge Wood. Time for Hey Rut, presented by Toyota.
Rick, I would have loved driving that, but yesterday I got a chance to take out the new Toyota Supra on the track, one of the pace cars, and the craziest thing I noticed is when you're coming up the hill, up through the S's here, it is a totally blind hill, so if you're not top 4 or top 5, every time you go over this crest, it's totally blind. And Dale Jr. told me, you go hit those rumble strips as hard as you can, hit those curbs going in the bus stop, because you won't believe what it feels like to me. And that car looked really composed, but when you see the other cars hit it, they're getting that trans tunnel over the middle, launching it. To me, it felt like hitting a speed bump at 65. But Dale, the one thing I don't get, and I know you have a perfect view, when you see a car leave the ground like that, it upsets it so much. How are some of these drivers, especially when they're trying to go next to each other, how are they able to get this thing through there smoothly at all?
Usually they don't when they go through their side-by-side. Rudd, I saw your video from yesterday, and I'm not real proud of your commitment. You should have tried to go through there a little faster and use those curves a little harder.
Come on!
Next year, buddy.
Done. Next year.
Marty.
So, Rick, sort of the other end shot of all this 24-18 drama that happened on the racetrack is that the 24 of William Byron coming back down pit road right now is on the damaged vehicle policy, meaning they're on a clock now to be able to get all the repairs done, and then they have to meet minimum speed. So this should be the final stop, according to Chad Knaus. There you see him kind of head in hand, kind of dismay over what's happened here in the last little bit. That should be the final repairs for them, Dave. Hopefully they can meet minimum speed from here.
And Marty, Kyle Busch was speeding exiting pit road, so he'll have to start in the rear with William Byron. This could be interesting. They came back down pit road to work on the left front of that car from the inside and the outside to make sure it was sealed off. Interestingly, the back bumper of that 18, the one that William Byron tried to do some damage to, nothing more than a little scrape. It looks like that chewed pencil from the kid next to you in school.
Great report about those guys and their DVP and that whole clock. Luckily, that resets. Once you get to minimum speed, they're going to drop the green here. Both the cars look like they're in good shape. I think they should be able to meet minimum speed. Let's listen in to what Kyle Busch's thoughts are on the situation.
Push that nose in pretty good. Yep. Pretty sure I can see it from here. Making it more of a car shape, again, might be better, but I don't think we have time for it. So whatever, we got what we got. No, we don't.
Well, that's when your crew chief points out the damage that your driver knows he put in the car. This is going to be interesting. Remember, we saw yesterday two pretty level-headed guys, Justin Allgaier and Ross Chastain, trade blows with one ending up with a tire barrier. We'll have to see if this is over.
Level-headed, I like it. The field approaching the Geico restart zone. It's Kyle Larson and Kevin Harvick making up row one. 2 by 2. They file in front of the grandstands. Larson with the advantage as he goes into one.
Here they come diving downhill into turn one. That's that 90-degree right-hander. Larson away with the lead as they stack them up, headed downhill to turn two. Larson, your leader. Kevin Harvick at the 4. He is running in the second position. Third, that's a good battle right there. You've got Clint Boyer, also Chase Elliott. You got Alex Bowman, and you got Double Wide Racing further back in the pack.
Here they come. Oh, look at Martin Truex Jr. in the grass. He's got the right front tire in the grass, and is he gonna get down here in the braking zone without any problem? Man, that was real lucky for him. A little trouble back further up. Two Penske cars get colliding there. Logano, looks like Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney got together through the entrance to the inner loop. Man, these restarts are tough on these guys. Logano getting pressure from Matt right there on corner X of the carousel.
I don't know how they did wreck right there. They all worked together pretty well to not get into a wreck, but look what it caused. It's busted everybody up. See Paul Bernard on the bottom trying to make a move on Kurt Busch. Now they're going to be side-by-side into turn 7, as well as the row behind them. Bernard wisely falling in behind.
Restart's amazing. 2 and 3 wide as they were going through the S's down that backstretch. Take a look at what Martin Truex Jr. did here, trying to get by the 2.
Yeah, he pulls to the right, just runs out of asphalt, and this stacks them up 2 and 3 wide. Ryan Blaney has nowhere to go. This is on board with Martin Truex Jr. You're going to see, he thinks he has enough room. He swings right, just misjudges it, drops a wheel off as Brad kind of squeezes him.
They are so lucky because you know how that splitter can dig into that dirt and rip the entire right front off the car. They are so lucky.
Got him 2 spots doing it. I mean, you know, an aggressive move worked out for him.
Here you see the 18 car and the 24 Byron trying to make their way back up through the back of the field. Already passed a handful of cars into the braking zone of the inner loop. The rest of the field coming through as well. Oh, we got a spin. Our own Parker Klingerman has been turned around some way. Man, he was having such a great run after qualifying really well with that 96 car. Try to get it backed up here, rerouting. That's what GPS is saying, rerouting. He's getting back on the racetrack here.
Here's the nose of that 22. That was the car we saw go through the grass, the 22 of Joe Logano. Ryan Blaney jumps out of line. He's got to contest. There's some grass on that nose. We'll have to see if the 22 can stay on the racetrack. Let's take a look at what happened to that 96. Over in front of you, Dale Jr. was into the bus stop.
Absolutely. Just, again, 2 cars trying to go through there side by side. Can't really tell. I think it might have been Daniel Suarez on the outside or the inside, depending on your choice. Ended up taking Parker out.
No caution came out, though, as Parker was able to get it back going. And you see the 22, some damage to the front of that.
Yeah, this racetrack, we don't think about aerodynamics at short track and road courses, but at the speeds these guys are running, that aerodynamic will be a disadvantage for Joey Logano.
His 2 teammates hustle down into the braking zone. Looked like Blaney was thinking about an opportunity to pass here. He may not be very happy with his team. It doesn't look like he's real happy with him. Pushing him hard here. Will he get in the bumper?
through the carousel. He's very close, trying to get. Oh, yeah, I think they made a little contact right there, possibly trying to make a pass. Blaney wants his spot really bad. He's been looking on the inside, the outside, showing him he wants to under braking. Logano is not going to give it up. Joey Logano does not want to give up position. Right here, Blaney's trying to make this inside move. This is dangerous. Logano's going to have to work really well with him to make this happen without contact. Good job by two teammates right there.
Blaney able to get by. Logano trying to hold off Eric Almirola now. It's getting very aggressive here at the Glen. You see Daniel Suarez. Well, he put Kligerman around in the bus stop.
Got the 6-car, one back.
You can go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner all weekend long. A monthly subscription starts at just $2.99. Visit NASCAR.com/scanner. Steve, the 42 on pit road.
Well, this is his first pit stop of the day. We talk about creative strategies. The 42 says, you know what, I need to get some track position. He stayed out, had some track position, but now he finally had to come to pit road. When you look at the left side of your screen, look at the varying strategies. Chase Elliott was on pit road at lap 22, fast race car. He's driven back to the lead. But Kevin Harvick, Boyer, Bowman, and Buescher back in 6th, playing that strategy game. They pitted before the end of stage 1. They stayed out. That's how they got to the front. Now it's all about some timely yellows and saving a little fuel. They're probably outside their window. But how about this 9 of Chase Elliott, Rick? I mean, hands down the class of the field so far. He restarted back 6 or 7 positions and fired his way all the way back to the lead.
And we mentioned earlier there was a shifter issue on the 10 of Eric Almirola. Marty, have they fixed it?
Well, what they did, Rick, was they actually handed Eric. They had built the entire shifter to bolt a new one in. That was the plan. And here's the pit stop a moment ago. But what they did instead, they handed him a little bit of tape, and they kind of helped him tape it while they were doing the pit stop right there. But, Steve, I don't know how mechanically inclined drivers are, but would a little tape work to get that shifter back together, in your opinion?
Well, the simple fact is something that's meant to be held in with 2 3/8 bolts. Junior, I'm not sure duct tape's going to replace those 2 bolts.
Yeah, that's not going to do much. I don't understand them. Putting tape on the shifter to hold it in makes no sense to me. Must not really understand exactly what kind of issue he's got inside that car. Yeah, he obviously he doesn't have a major mechanical issue, or tape wouldn't hold it. I mean, there's just no way that tape could hold the shifter in its place. As Steve said, there's 2 3/8 bolts that hold that shifter onto the transmission, and tape would not take the place of that. So clearly he does not have a major issue, or they would have gone ahead and replaced it.
The word might be yet, Rick. Doesn't have a major issue yet. Obviously, something's going on there. As you see Martin Truex Jr. starting to let those new tires work for him inside the 8 and Alex Bowman.
Dives to the inside of Bowman off the end of the front straightaway, put Truex up into the 4th position. Bowman will fall back to 5th as they climb uphill. Next up for Martin Truex Jr., it will be Clint Boyer. That'll be the battle for 3rd as they head to the back straightaway.
Martin Truex Jr. has been one of the best road course races in the series over the last several years. Into the braking zone, gaining on Clint Boyer, who also is a great road course racer in his own right. Look at Truex. Oh, wow, what a wide entry into the carousel. Usually the car is so loose there. Look at the diamond, too. He brings the car high in the middle to make that low, strong exit. That exit is going to help him put a lot of pressure on Clint Boyer into turn 6, showing him that he wants the spot. Clint Boyer going to give it to him, going to give him room, didn't give him the spot, but right here, Clint Boyer still gives him plenty of room on the outside. I think Truex will slow the entry down, hang a right, get side by side with him down the front straightaway, then beat him on breaking into 1.
Here comes Truex to the inside of Clint Boyer, trying to take that spot away. That is for the 3rd position, and Truex has the position on the inside. He takes it away from Boyer now. He'll set his sights on Harvick.
Truex flexing some muscle here in the early going at Watkins Glen. He's gotten by Boyer, and he leads that freight train uphill into the S's. Truex now starting to lay it out. He runs right into 3rd position, but he's about a second behind Kevin Harvick, who runs in 2nd.
Yeah, the battle's behind Truex now. Look at Alex Bowman looking out. Sometimes guys are trying to get a little air to the brakes just to be able to continue to brake hard all day long, keep the temperature out of that brake pedal. Also, can't fool the driver in front of him making a mistake. And Alex Bowman's right on the back of that 14 car. 14 car a little loose there. Looks like the back's a little unhappy through the carousel. Corner exit here, 88 wide, no chance to pass. Yeah, Boyer wasn't very optimistic going into this race. He said they're going to have to manage the day. Didn't think he had anything for the Chevys. Up 77 car. Reed Sorenson with issues. That's up there in the carousel. See all the smoke coming out from behind the car. Caution out.
Full course yellow.
Yeah, right here in the inner loop, they've had some kind of failure. Not sure where I smell it over here as all the cars are just coming over toward where I'm standing now. Burnt up something in the car. Yeah, tons of smoke, and that caution at a very interesting time. 7 laps to go before the end of stage 2.
So closing in on the end of stage 2, caution comes out again for Reed Sorenson. Second caution has come out here in the Monster Energy Cup Series racing. Go Bowling at the Glen. We'll see how many decide to come to pit road as it is now open. Looks like not too many takers are going to be on their way down. A few there in the back of the field. Dave.
Yeah, I'm watching Kurt Busch coming down pit road in the one car. He'd like some adjustments to that car. It is a little bit uneasy as he gets into pit road for just Sunoco fuel here. By the way, Joey Logano is making a toe adjustment on that 22. You guys have been talking about that problem he has on the front of his car, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that here. Kyle Busch also on pit road getting 4 Goodyear tires and fuel.
Martin Truex Jr. has been a part of the class of the field, currently in the 3rd position. Strategy has put Harvick in 2nd, and definitely the dominant one, Chase Elliott up front.
Things tightening up for the lead.
They're beating these race cars up.
7, 8, 9 cars crashing.
They are getting at it hot and heavy here in the Watkins Glen. One car off course. Hard contact. Dangerous spot on the track. Looks like he gets off to the guardrail. No caution yet. Contact in the S's.
Fans jumping up and down, yelling, screaming, losing their minds here at Watkins Glen.
So much aggressive and great racing here at the Glen throughout the years. And speaking of great racing, the NTT IndyCar Series returns to action in 2 weeks from today at the tricky Triangle of Pocono. That race coverage is on NBCSN. Only 4 races remain in the season. Joseph Newgarden still leading in the points there. 4 wins already this season. Junior?
Yeah, probably something to keep an eye on for this restart. You see them cleaning this speedy dry off over here, exiting the inner loop. The guys will have no choice but to go through that, at least on the exit of that inner loop. It is quite a ways out of the groove through the carousel, but still side by side and tight racing through that inner loop. It could be a little bit of a handful for those drivers trying to get those cars locked down into this carousel.
So that'll be on the minds of the drivers as they will work their way through the inner loop and through the carousel. We heard from Rutledge Wood earlier, and he was with a pretty interesting group of fans. It looks like he's found another great location.
I have, Rick. I am on top of the bus stop party bus. 23 years these friends have been coming here, and if you smell something down there, Dale Jr., it's the bourbon bacon brownies. But this is a gourmet experience for all these fans. But I tell you what, the view is unbelievable. Everything that we're seeing, those curb hopping, Dale, they're doing it right, of course. I caught that joke earlier, but this is an incredible view. The backstretch fans over here, scaffolding is what everybody's kind of choice is down here. But guys, this is a great view.
Right, I can't believe you didn't call out the Team Penske principal standing behind you with the radios and the sunglasses, and he wasn't taking part in the partying.
Oh, no, he's not. He's spotting for Ryan Blaney, and he really appreciated his shout-out that you gave him yesterday. So.
Well, I like to point out he's consistent. Same location, 2 days in a row.
Dave?
Rick, we showed you Kurt Busch pitting a moment ago. We also listened to the radio, him describing what his condition of his car was, and maybe more interestingly, how out of breath he was.
Yeah, I don't think we got any damage from that. The 12 car that was going to spin out and wipe us out. The changes take forever to come in. Car's okay. 10-4.
Now, I don't want to bust on a guy who's having a 41st birthday today, but Dale Jr., this is more than a ride around the country when they come here and road race, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been like that for these guys everywhere this year. This downforce, they're going so much faster through all the corners, and it's the same thing here at Watkins Glen, especially the 90-degree corners, turn 1, turn 6 and 7. A lot of speed through those corners, and it's real hard on the drivers. Physically, you can hear it in his voice there as he's out of breath.
Well, Rick, we're coming to 4 to go in the end of stage 2. And I can't think of a more important start for anybody than Jimmie Johnson. He was able to score points in the first stage. We knew the whole situation coming in, the crew chief change, his position currently outside the playoffs. Well, where he runs, he's barely in the playoffs, +1. And while there's still more races ahead of them, all of these matters. The reason I bring him up, he's running in the 9th position. The top 10 score points. So on this restart, if he can move forward, that's points. But if he moves backwards just a couple, he'll score 0 points in this stage.
Field approaching the Geico restart zone once again. Chase Elliott on the inside. Kevin Harvick on the outside. Just behind them, Truex and Boyer. Bowman and Hamlin in row 3. Who will be aggressive through turn number 1? Clint Boyer trying to make something happen on that inside line. But it's Chase Elliott who has the advantage.
Here they come out of 1 into 2. Elliott pulls away with the lead. Truex will slide underneath Harvick, and he will go to the number 2 position. Harvick back to 3rd, and it's Clint Boyer who has his hands full. He's got him lined up behind him. Denny Hamlin leading that freight train.
Only 4 laps to go in this stage. All these drivers fighting for stage points, especially back here in the top, just inside the top 10. You see Blaney, Jimmie Johnson, Eric Almirola, Matt DiBenedetto, all those guys trying to fight for those stage points to help themselves on this finish here. You mentioned those stage points. Jimmie Johnson, well, think about Clint Boyer. He's in 4th. He has been reeling back at the point. He needs to finish his stage strong. They're side by side off the carousel. See if they can take advantage of this spot. Gotta be smart here. It's really easy to overdrive this entry. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. right here. Neither one of them has given up the spot yet. Still battling.
And that's for 16th. The 47 and 17 fighting for that spot. 3 laps to go in stage 2. 2 wide and now 3 wide. Here comes Kyle Busch to the inside.
Kyle Busch dive bombs to the inside of turn number 1, trying to pick up a couple of spots. 1 car off of the curve in 1, but there's Kyle to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll power his way through, now slide wide in 2, and they're all jacked up behind him. You got Chris Buescher there, David Reagan, the 21 of Paul Menard. Ty Dillon, it's a hornet's nest off turn 4.
Yeah, and out on the back side of that is the 42 of Larson. Also, the 41 car. All these guys funneling down into this inner loop. Oh, man, I can't believe everybody got through there without any problems. They're all just trying to take advantage of cars in position for passes while they can before they get strung out and before the end of this stage. A lot of wild driving there, getting out of this carousel clean. Check out what Suarez is having to deal with. Racing with Ty Dillon down this back straightaway into turn 6. Going to try to show him the nose, see if he can get him the spot. Ty's not going to give him the spot. Ty blocking the inside move. Suarez taking it anyway. Ty's going to have a little bit of momentum. Watch Kyle Larson. Those two are slowed up. Kyle Larson's going to try to make it 3 wide into 1.
They're all fighting for the 23rd position back there. Ty Dillon, Suarez, and Larson. And 3 wide going into 1 isn't going to work. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. fighting for the lead as they get ready to come into the inner loop.
Yeah, Truex Jr. is closing in on the 9-car Chase Elliott. 2 laps to go. Coming up on the bus stop in the braking zone. Truex trying to make ground there. This 9-car, though, has been great pretty much everywhere all the way around the track, but especially in this area, and you can see it. No gain for Truex through the carousel. Both those cars pretty tight. Truex tight around that apron this time. We've seen him use different lines there. The 9 really wide, gaining ground. Remember this great battle from last year. These two duking it out at the end of the race. We got a spin. We got a car in the tire barrier over in the carousel. The 43 of Bubba Wallace
entering the carousel. I don't know how he got turned around, but he has hit the tire barrier. See if he can get his car moving here. Backing his car up. Lost the tailpiece. I don't know if he made hard contact with the front, but he did back that car in with the left rear quarter panel as he pulls away. Could have been an issue with some of that speedy drive that I was talking about before they went back to green and how slick it is exiting this inner loop. Car seemed to get away from him there.
He looked like he was running in the 18th spot for Bubba Wallace. Because that caution comes out, they will end stage 2 under caution. They're on the final lap around the track. We look at the replay.
Yeah, he's kind of already up and backwards and sliding. Hard to say, as Dale mentioned, what got him there. Heavy contact really with both ends of the race car, the rear and the front, as those tires kind of grabbed and spun around the 43. He'll bring it to pit road to make some repairs.
Yeah, I think the lucky thing for him is I don't think that any of the suspension got bent there. That left front contact wasn't really hard enough, so at least the tires are all going to be pointing in the same direction, and they'll be able to pull that off, all that body work, and get going.
Guys up there on the pit box taking a look.
See the 41 of Daniel Suarez. This has been continued, this hard racing. Well, right here you see the 8 of Hemrick kind of got into the quarter panel right there of the 41 of Suarez. There's another look at it.
Still middle. Inside 8.
Looks like the 8 kind of hit the curb, and that pushed him up the track and into the 41. A little bit of tire smoke out of the 41 here. Well, I say a little. The little is increasing as he goes around the racetrack.
So Suarez will roll around the track, and again, that was a fight back there in the 23rd position. Suarez now running 24th. Kyle Larson is 23rd.
Rick, you mentioned that we will finish this stage under yellow. That will give Chase Elliott the stage win, Truex in second. Big benefit, though, these last a couple yellows for the 4 of Kevin Harvick in third, Boyer in 4th, and Bowman in 7th. The reason I say that is because when they pitted, they could not make it to the end of this race on one more stop. They knew they needed yellows. You can save fuel under yellow. We had a bunch of yellows here, so that's going to save them. And you kind of underlined it as I was talking. We mentioned about the 48 of Jimmy Johnson needing points. The 14 of Clint Boyer needing points. Well, both will score points. The 14 running really well in the 4th position. That's a lot of points in this stage.
Pretty good run there for Boyer. The official app of NASCAR that puts race coverage and in-car cameras right at your fingertips is NASCAR.com/mobile. You can search for it in your app store. Just search NASCAR. Well, the fans definitely are getting the price of admission here at Watkins Glen. Another great stage and some exciting racing taking place. Can Chase Elliott continue this domination at Watkins Glen? He's led 33 laps. This next time he crosses the finish line will be his 34th lap led, and that now means that he won stage 1 and stage 2. Chase Elliott dominant again.
Down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. Running down a dream.
It's Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Watkins Glen. Very eventful 2 stages already. That means 40 laps complete, 50 remain, and at least one more pit stop by all of these teams. We'll find out if anybody's coming here now at the end of stage 2. Looks like Jimmy Johnson will bring the 48 to the attention of Cliff Daniels. Kelly?
Yeah, and Cliff Daniels telling Jimmy Johnson that it was going to be a last-second call, but if he did call him in, it was going to be a 4 Goodyear tire stop for Jimmy Johnson. They said they needed to get stage points. They've done that. They've collected 6 stage points today, and now Cliff Daniels trying his hand at a little strategy. His first time here. Meanwhile, Daniel Suarez in the 41 car is also in. He's had a little bit of damage to the quarter panel on that car, so they wanted to take a look, make sure they don't have a tire rub on the 41.
Gaining stage points and now trying to be in position to have the best finish possible. The 18, a lot of damage already on that one. The 9 hasn't had an issue. They've been up front most of the day. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. Go Bowling. Go to GoBowling.com to find a center near you. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Speaking of going places, let's find where Rutledge Wood has gone to.
Rick, I'm up here on this brand new berm here at Watkins Glen that they built to make these VIP cabanas, and talk about a view. Right now, we can see all the cars coming down right through here. It's an amazing view. It reminds me of the view I got the other night at Outlaw Speedway, just up the road in Dundee, New York. This place is amazing. Kurt Busch was out there, the owner. Tyler Seary was actually running that night too. We got to see him. Not only did he work on the track and prep it, then he got out there and ran it. But an amazing short track just up the road. So if you were coming up here for a weekend of fun, it would be hard to miss that place. But it's awesome how many fans are out here just hanging out, having a good time. And Steve, I think that Bobcat's named after you, buddy. Pretty wild.
He's a cute guy back there. He looks good, right? You find in all the parties. You don't have to search real hard around here, though. This place is full of great places to hang out and watch your race.
Somebody named a Bobcat Steve?
Yeah, well, works for me.
All right, let's listen in to Clint Boyer's radio.
The thing to go over with you, Bud, is when we do go green, keep that fuel switch down. We're going to run till it stumbles and then flip that fuel switch and hit pit road the next time. The good news is with the stage points before 48 got the first stage, we basically have broken even with him on stage points today, so we didn't lose anything to him.
Well, Mike Bugaravich is calling a great race. He's gotten his driver up into the 4th position on strategy, and because of that strategy, look at the points earned today so far through the stages. Why the front 4, Elliott, Truex, Hamlin, Harvick, that's fine. Well, they've all won races. They're into the playoffs. Clint Boyer with those 7 points. Remember, he's still trying to make the playoffs as well as the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. That other bit of information, we're going to run until it stumbles. These cars are equipped basically with a second fuel pickup. It's settled in a little bit different location. You go until the first fuel pickup stumbles, meaning it's out of fuel, and there's usually about 1 more lap left. You flip the switch. That's how you don't run out on the backstretch and have to coast in. You drive it back around to pit road. So with these yellows, I would imagine that the 14 of Clint Boyer could probably make it to the end on 1 more stop, but the chess match is on. We talk about execution. Josh Balicki right here is having a little bit of trouble. Had a rough day yesterday, and then here leaves his pit stall with the gas can attached. Never a good situation.
Penalty for taking equipment out of the box, so he will be at the back of the field for this restart. Again, it's Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., definitely the class of the field today. Those two will be in row 1. Then Harvick and Boyer, they have played the strategy perfectly. They're up in the 2nd row in 3rd and 4th. Hamlin and Keselowski, they've been fighting back there in 5th and 6th. They're in row 3. Getting ready to get the final stage underway. Another great restart for Chase Elliott as he'll fire his way into the right-hander. That turn 1 makes it through there. Martin Truex Jr. right on his back bumper as those two will fight for the lead.
Truex not letting Elliott get away, but they too have left the field. Harvick in 3rd, behind Truex in 2nd, and Elliott your leader. Elliott now with a bumper full of Truex as Denny Hamlin and Eric Jones. A couple of teammates going at it there. They're stacked up double wide throughout the field.
Well, it looks like a flashback to last year out front with Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. leading this field. But here you go back here. Here's the leaders. Truex looked to the inside, coming into the inner loop. Wasn't able to make a pass. Wasn't able to make the 9 car make a mistake. The 9 really getting off of this carousel really good and wide, using a lot of racetrack there. I think we're going to find out right now how good Chase Elliott is. Martin Truex Jr. is going to put the pressure on. Right now, after a restart, you can get that track position. You may not ever give it up. So Martin Truex Jr., I know it's a long way to go to the end of this race, but if you ever get in front of Chase Elliott, he may not be able to pass you back.
It was last year where Chase Elliott was going into turn number 1 and actually had wheel hop. Looked as though he was going to go wide, maybe even lose the race, but he held on and got his first win. This time, perfect through 1, and he's pulling away from the 19.
Truex in full court press mode right now as they enter turn 2 and climb the hill, known as the S's here at Watkins Glen. But Elliott is strong up the hill. He'll pull away by 2, maybe 3 car lengths over Truex in this 2-car breakaway for the lead.
Yeah, from what I'm noticing, it looks like Truex is really good in the braking zone, getting into these slow corners just like this inner loop, but the 9 car seems to be better in the faster stuff, or at least exiting all corners. He's able to put the throttle down, more security leaving these corners. Watch this drive. The 9 car gets off of this carousel, putting distance between him and Truex. I love this shot. We've riding on the roof cam, that Toyota cam, as well as inside. You see what Martin Truex Jr. is trying to do. He tries to use all the racetrack on both sides of it. That downshift gives him some RPMs on corner exit. Look how far to the left side he goes now, right to the curb, trying to lead low. Turn 1 is where I think he's stronger than Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott has been struggling over the last 6 weeks, but now trying to rebound and get going in the right direction once again. First 14 races, 1 win, and now he has been struggling, averaging 26.4 as far as finishes, but here he's led 39 laps already of the 45 run.
He continues to hold that same lead over Martin Truex Jr. These cars are extremely equal. Again, will he gain here in this braking zone? Looks like he gains quite a bit more on Chase. Maybe Chase really
concentrates on corner exit, on being able to get the power down, getting out of the carousel and getting out of the inner loop and into the carousel. Again, a different line for the 9 car versus Truex. Truex low, tidy around the curve. The 9 wide, being able to use a little more throttle on corner exit.
That's so cool watching him jump that curve off that carousel. Heavy downshift right there. You're just putting that pressure on. Martin Truex Jr. knows that if he can just keep that pressure on, push Chase Elliott, hope Chase Elliott overdrives the corner, then he can be there to take the spot.
Still about 6 car lengths between the two of them up front. Marty.
Ideally, you would like to go, Rick, till about 10 more laps, to lap 55, 56 or so. We're sitting on lap 46 right now. But talking to Chase Elliott this morning, he told me the one thing he was worried about, this portion of the run, the end of the run. And that's where Martin Truex Jr. felt like he was the strongest. So Bagley, as they come underneath you, right now Chase Elliott holding on to that lead, but he's worried about how he'll be on old tires.
Well, right now he's got them covered, and he's keeping one of the best in the rearview mirror. Martin Truex Jr. doing everything he can to keep up with Chase for the lead.
Yeah, with each lap, it looks like the Chase Elliott continues to stretch that lead out. More and more comfortable with his car. Here we fade back here to 4th place. Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin having a strong run today. He's got a lot of great speed in that car. As they roll, he runs a different line as well through the carousel. A little bit of a diamond so he can get a good straight run off. He might have just missed the corner there entirely, but it seems to be working for him.
See this group of cars right here to show you how dominant the 9 and 19 are. They're a second a lap faster than this group. They are driving away right now. These guys are going to have to sort it out, get a little bit of clean air to try to find some speed.
And Steve, we look at that 20 back there of Eric Jones. A lot of talk as of recently about what will his future hold, because Christopher Bell has done so well for Joe Gibbs Racing. They're looking for a spot for him in the Cup Series. Could it be maybe behind the wheel of the 20?
Yeah, as he pulls out the look underneath the 11. It's hard to believe we're talking about a driver's current position when his last 3 finishes are third, and second. He's doing such a nice job. Then here at the road course, running well inside the top 10, keeping up with Denny Hamlin, regarded as perhaps a future Hall of Famer. His numbers are outstanding. I think what we're looking for out of the 20 as well as Joe Gibbs Racing are some wins. They want to see this car go to victory lane.
Here comes the 11 of Denny Hamlin in the braking zone. We've seen him be aggressive here into the inner loop. Not able to put a position or a pass on the 2 car Keselowski. They exit the inner loop into the carousel. There's a 20 of Jones, Blaney, everybody pressuring in this tight pack of cars right here. Somebody's going to be able to make a pass. It's got to be a mistake coming soon.
Denny Hamlin's a very confident driver right now. After Pocono, he said he believed that they are one of the best 3 teams in the series, believes they have a real shot to win the championship. He's been good on these road courses. This team is getting strong at the right time. They will be, in my opinion, a championship contender down in Miami.
He's had a few opportunities at a championship. That's Denny Hamlin we're talking about. And that's one of the biggest reasons why Eric Jones, he has such great competition within the organization. So you look at him and there's such a spotlight shined on the 20 because he just doesn't have the credentials that everybody else in the organization does.
Working their way through the S's, we drop Turner back into pack. A couple of good battles going on deeper in the field, but what about this one? Battle for the 15th position right now. Ryan Newman has it. You're on board with Ryan Priest. He's trying to track Newman down, grab that spot as they race up the backstretch.
Great shot with our Kroger bumper cam from Ryan Priest's car as he downshifts. You're watching a little bit of brakes or tire smoke off the car in front of him. We've seen a lot of problems this weekend with guys flat spotting tires. That's Ryan Newman. Probably did flat spot that tire. That could change the balance and the handle of that car. It just won't work as well on the front end with the flat spotted right front tire here. Got a little speed here.
See this battle. Eric Jones trying to get by the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Ryan Blaney still working himself up to the field. Remember, he had to start back in the back. Let's listen to what the 20 guys had to say.
All 3 of them in front of you are doing that. That's just the game they're playing. None of them are moving. They're just holding each other up, man. So we just have to work to be a foul.
Just got to keep your driver calm. The 14 of Clint Boyer right here, he's the one that lacks the pace. He has all of these cars stacked up, but there's still 41 to go, Rick. These drivers have to be patient.
Under 39 laps to go in the Monster Energy Cup Series racing.
We got a spin here
Bowling
in
at
the
the
interloop.
Glen.
We've got another crash here in the interloop. That car is backed him into the fence on entry to the interloop. Pretty sure he got some help getting into the braking zone there.
The interloop has been the place this weekend for issues, and that was a pretty heavy contact. You see the damage to the left rear corner of the 8 of Daniel Hemrick. And the grass on the grill of 13. I don't see a lot of damage, but I see some grass on the grill. That's the common issue back there. We've seen a lot of cars go through the interloop, get grass on the grill. Ty Dillon's going to come to pit road. Yeah, Dale.
Steve, just recently we had the 12 and the 88 get grass on the grill. The 12 car missed the. Here's the issue with the 8. Actually, he gets in the back of the 13, overruns the interloop, loses control of the car. He goes flying to the right into the wall. The 13 through the grass here. Ryan Blaney's been through this grass as well with grass on his grill. The 88, maybe a little bit of grass as well as he was following Blaney. Here's a replay of that. So the 88's behind him. That's how he's going to get the debris. The 18 also concerned. They may have grass on their grill as well.
Oh, yeah, that 12 has a lot of grass right there. I think some has come up. The good thing for these cars is we're currently at 38 to go, which means we're probably anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 laps from green flag pit stops, deciding on how much fuel they could save, Dale.
And you see Ryan Newman right there in front of the 88. He had flat spotted that right front tire getting into the interloop, came through the interloop again and slid it one more time and blew the right front again as he's going back to pit road. So that's why he's back here a lap down.
And with all of that changing with Ryan Newman, that has been beneficial for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Now, when you look at the playoff standings, Jimmy Johnson is actually 16, 12 points ahead of Ryan Newman, who has dropped to 17. Marty?
Rick, we are rapidly approaching the final pit stops of the day. What should be the final stops of the day here at Watkins Glen. Brad Keselowski is running in the top 5 as of right now. But the number one thing you have to do if you want to play the fuel mileage game, you must get the car full. The 2 did not do that on the last stop. Take a listen on the radio.
It should be plenty good now, right, Paul?
A little issue with our fuel head there at lap 17. I don't know. We lost a little fuel leaving the box. Hopefully it wasn't much. Don't really know for sure. What we're thinking, yeah, we should be fine.
Force it sounds like they're not different.
Oh, like the fuel head got stuck open. You know what I'm saying?
No copy.
So what happened is the dry brake, Steve, stayed open when he went out on the racetrack. So when he went up through the S's, Brad Keselowski was losing fuel out of the tank. So a little bit of a concern. They're playing it like they're 1 gallon short. So they may have to pit a little bit earlier than everybody else in an already situation that's tight for these guys to make it to the end. Battle for the lead, heating up.
It comes into the S's. Martin Truex Jr. has reeled in Chase Elliott. This again is the race for the lead. As they cross the tunnel, they hit turn 4, and they're closing in on some lap traffic. Ty Dillon directly ahead.
That's a great point. That lap traffic is going to make it difficult for Chase Elliott. He's going to lose a bit of that downforce advantage that he has being the lead car. You see Truex close in through the interloop. The 9 catching the lap car of Ty Dillon into the carousel. Ty Dillon's going to run to the usual line. Cause a little bit of trouble for the 9. Wide center for the 19 car. Truex, good run off this corner here.
Yeah, Truex has been dealing with that lack of downforce. The 9 of Chase Elliott, with the exception of coming back through the field on that restart, he hasn't had to. So Ryan Truex has been over and over and over, but Martin Truex has been dealing with this, and Chase Elliott for the first time. So Chase Elliott's going to have to learn what to do with his race car behind Ty Dillon.
And you want to know how good these 2 cars are running first and second? 9 seconds back to the 3rd place car of Kevin Harvick as we see Truex pull out of line.
Truex trying to take that spot away. Look to the inside of the 9. Can he make the move as they go into the S's?
No, he cannot, at least in 1 and in 2. Truex, though, will recoil. He'll follow Elliott up the hill, and they've still yet to clear the lap car of Ty Dillon. Elliott, Truex separated by 2 car lengths as they exit turn 4.
Yeah, that lap car of Ty Dillon creating all kinds of problems for Chase Elliott as he's trying to find a way around, trying to just get close enough. But those tires on that 13 are giving that car an advantage. But he struggles through the interloop. Now it tightens up that lead. Chase does not have an opportunity. The 13 is not going to move out of the way and give him the opportunity to go by. He's going to race for his lap. He's allowed to do that.
Truex with a good run right here off of the carousel, but he's not going to take advantage of it. Going to try it 3 wide. Had no idea he would try 3 wide. Going to drive in the corner, not quite there. Chase Elliott knows he's there, though. He's going to have to be perfect in 7, or Martin Truex Jr. is going to be all over him in 1. I think Truex is better in 1, but Chase Elliott with a good run off of 7.
Fight for the lead really heating up between these two. Chase Elliott now with a 2-car length lead as they go into turn number 1. Martin Truex Jr. has been great at braking into turn 1. He closes the gap again to a car length. Now they head into 2.
Now Chase Elliott's got clean air on the nose of his race car. Let's see if that's able to pay some dividends. He's able to pull away from Truex by 2 car lengths, as Truex now will angle back up. You're riding on board. They're exiting turn 4 and setting up for the inner loop.
Truex just cannot get close enough up through those S's to be able to take advantage of the braking zone advantage that he has, making the pass there. But he does run through this inner loop a little bit better here, able to keep that gap a little closer. Closing in. He dives the corner here. He's going to cut back across the bottom of the track, try to get in the gas. The 9 car, though, has great drive off, able to maintain that advantage.
Truex is faster. If Truex could ever get in front of Chase Elliott, I think he would drive away from it, and both of these drivers know it. So Chase Elliott's going to have to be good on corner exits. Going to have to drive into the corners, not get out broken, getting into the corners. Going to have to be perfect. We saw Chase Elliott do that the last time here to beat Martin Truex. Can he do it for the next 34 laps?
Not just the drivers, Jeff. The crew chiefs know it as well. We are closing in on green flag pit stops. When do you bring your driver in? How far can you stretch the fuel? How soon do you need tires if you're the 9 of Chase Elliott?
Junior just made a great point. Truex is good going downhill into 1, but Elliott's got the power coming up the hill of the S's. Right now it's Elliott and Truex. They are pulling away as they exit turn number 4, and Kevin Harvick goes to pit road, but the battle for the lead continues up the back straightaway.
Yeah, Chase Elliott looks in the mirror and he sees that advantage that he gains up through the S's. He knows that he does not have to push hard in the inner loop because his car is so good through the S's and out of this carousel. Really impressive. He knows he does not want to give this position up. This could be literally for the race lead right here, so you cannot allow the 19 car by.
You saw the 4 car on pit road. Will that drive these guys to pit road, Steve? Afraid they're going to get a caution, then line up behind everybody else that's already been on pit road.
Yeah, you want to come to pit road, but you got to make it to the end. With a car as fast as the 9 of Chase Elliott, Alan Gustafson doesn't want to take himself out of the race, so they're staying on the racetrack. But I keep thinking we're going to be on board and see him take that turn onto pit road. I'm shocked they've run this far, so it could be any lap here, and then it will be on the pit crews. Will the 19 be able to pass the 9 on pit road?
The question is, can the 19 pass him on the racetrack? He's tried several times, but with this climb that Elliott gets up through the S's, he's been able to grab a car length or 2 every single time. Truex now trailing by 3 as they exit 4. Elliott and Truex pulling away their advantage now, about 12 seconds for the rest of the field.
Yeah, impressive run for both these cars, and we saw it all last year. They still have this speed. You see Clint Boyer on pit road making his pit stop. Truex can close in right through here, and I think that's just the 9 car taking it easy, trying to get through the inner loop without making any mistakes. He sees the advantage that he has at the rest of the racetrack. See Keselowski on pit road, a lot of cars starting to pit. See the 10 of Eric Almirola on pit road. They're hoping for a caution. If they get a caution before these leaders get on pit road, that'll be a huge advantage to them.
They got to come this time, Jeff. You can't let this many cars beat you to pit road. A yellow will change the entire day. There you have it. The 9 of Chase Elliott locks the tires up, coming to pit road. He'll pit a lap earlier than Martin Truex Jr. Now it's all about execution. The 9 of Chase Elliott's pit crew. You have 10 seconds over 3rd place. They are single-handedly racing the 19 of Truex. What pit crew will execute better, Marty?
A head-to-head battle. Chase Elliott coming down pit road. If you go by the old adage, you want to be the first to pit last. So Alan Gustafson making that call, coming down pit road. 30 laps to go here. They'll easily be able to make it to the end. No problem on fuel. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. 0 complaints from Chase Elliott about the car or the handling. And remember, what he was worried about, the end of the runs. They're going to make one little wedge adjustment, trying to make it better at the end of the run. He pits here. We'll see what happens when the 19 pits and where they cycle out.
I'm not saying I had a stopwatch, Rick, but it looked pretty clean. These backwards pit stops. Remember, look, the cars look funny because they're going the wrong way. The driver's normally next to pit road. We see the 20 come to pit road. The 47 pit road is full. The front stretch is full. The 19 of Martin Truex Jr. I think Cole Pern has got to bring him to pit road. If a yellow comes out, he'll lose 15 or 20 spots. Let's see. Here it is. Here's the decision by Cole Pern. Martin Truex takes the right-hand turn, coming down pit road. Kelly.
And when they saw the 9-car pit, they told Martin to run as hard as he could for one more lap. It's going to be a race to see where he cycles back around the 9-car. It's 4 Goodyear tires for Martin Truex Jr., who has been quiet on the radio. He knows he's got a fast race car, especially towards the end of a run.
Now we need to find out where they come out in relation to the 9. So the 19 team, another clean stop, Steve.
Another clean stop. How good was that lap? Here comes the 9 to Chase Elliott. Off the final corner, down the front stretch. The 19 is still on pit road, side by side. One at 50 miles an hour, one at over 100 miles an hour. Who will clear each other off from turn 1? The 19 passes the speed line. He'll grab the gears. Chase Elliott and the 9. Success for the 9 team. They'll hold the lead at Watkins Glen.
What a run for the 9 and the 19. They come out in the same positions after their green flag pit stops. You've seen it all in nonstop, and the crowd here loved it when Bubba Wallace got behind the 18 and turned him.
The chaos everywhere around this 2.5 mile 7-turn road course, and it started with a 7-time champion, Jimmy Johnson. We know the pressure, and you see right here, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch beating and banging down the front stretch. A big shot by Kyle Busch. Bubba Wallace says, I don't care, you're done. I'm sending you into turn 1, and listen. Bubba Wallace might have become a fan favorite with that move.
Yeah, a lot of contact here, and both drivers very aggressive on the front stretch. And then Bubba Wallace, after the 18 went by him, just decided, well, you're not gonna go any further around this turn. I'm gonna spin you.
Yeah, and this was the second accident in a cycle, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I mean, we remember where Bubba Wallace was turned around in the carousel. I think we know how that all started. Seems to be something going on with these drivers throughout the race.
The other incident you saw was the 48 of Jimmy Johnson got into the tire barrier.
Yeah, I was watching that, guys, as we were all watching it under nonstop. And coming out of the inner loop, Ryan Blaney got a little nose under Jimmy going into the carousel. Little contact was made. Jimmy stood in the throttle, hoping to stop the car from hitting the tire barrier. Was unsuccessful. Hard contact with the right front. Here's a 48 radio.
Earl, you find his spotter, tell him to beat his Yes, sir.
Well, there you have it.
You heard Earl very nonchalantly, yes, sir. Kelly.
Yeah, been a while since I've heard the 7-time champion that upset with someone, but he said he nosed it in hard there, so they're going to have to bring that 48 back down. They said all 4 tires are up, but they're still going to bring them down pit road and get them some fresh Goodyear tires and see if they can do anything about the damage, Dave.
On pit road now, Clint Boyer came into the day just 12 points above the cut line and is riding that cut line right now with Jimmy Johnson. His right front tire was cut down. He had to come back to pit road. There's a suspension part or something that appears to be cutting the right front tires on this 14 car.
The pressure of the playoffs is real. Jimmy Johnson and Clint Boyer are the 2 drivers battling for that final position. I mean, it's coming. The playoffs are coming, and look at this. Clint Boyer +2. Jimmy Johnson -2. Newman has had a flat tire. He's only -8. It's almost like not who can run better. It's who can just maybe get lucky or just execute better. Jimmy was having a good day until the wreck. The 14 has got those stage points until now. 28 laps to go. We go to a NASCAR nonstop, and like chaos broke loose.
Yeah, you mentioned Ryan Newman, and this caution was a great opportunity for him, being the first car lap down. I believe that he gets the wave around, Steve.
Yeah, he should. We're going to see what NASCAR says to make it official, but a lot going on. This right here, a big move by Bubba Wallace, standing his ground against Kyle Busch, Rick.
GoBowling has been at the track all weekend long, and so many fans here enjoying bowling right here at the track. A couple lanes, including Eric Almirola, who has GoBowling on his card today. Bowling a few lanes and having a lot of fun with the fans here, as well as professional bowlers that are with us at the track today. Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Watkins Glen. We want to take a look at the Ram trucks built to serve.
27 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. Listen, priorities, you have to stay on track. We've seen grass on the grill. If you go off at this point, everyone's good on fuel. You can't have to make an extra pit stop. Restarts. We know they're going to be 2, 3, 4 wide. What does that lead to? Unhappy drivers. You have to handle and control your emotions. If you get run off course, get back on course. If you get past, sometimes you have to let that guy go. Don't make a frustrated driver result into a bad day.
See a lot of the work being done to the 18. Talk about frustrated drivers between Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch. There was 2 frustrated drivers putting on a show right in front of the main grandstands on the front stretch.
Blink, Rick, we went back a year. I mean, this battle has continued from the 9 and the 19.
Rut.
Rick, I'm down here wondering, Steve, did you ever have like a code word or something when you saw your driver get this out of whack like some of these drivers are right now, this last lap, all this pressure? How did you rein it in? It's easy to say handle your emotions, but how do these crew chiefs and the spotters get through to those drivers right now with this red mist they're seeing?
You know, Rod, that's a great question, because the simple fact is those are conversations you have to have away from the racetrack without the pressure they're currently under, right? We got to talk about this. What can I do? Where the world doesn't know, I'm trying to tell you to calm down and quit acting silly, but you understand what I'm trying to tell you. This is the battle, and I think this pressure of the playoffs is making it even more intense for everyone.
Well, it's going to get more intense. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Steve?
Rick, we're not even in the last 25 laps yet. This
Coming up on 25 laps to go. And remember, we still have, well, this included, this is 5 races until the playoffs start. As you look at the playoff standings, look at the points. 7 points separating Newman and Johnson right now. Suarez 16 back, Boyer 12 ahead of that cut line. So 28 points separating 4 drivers, all fighting for a position in the playoffs.
And remember, guys, that's the battle to make the playoffs. But there's a regular season championship that they're trying to get to. There's bonus points that are paid. So Logano right now leading, but it's only 8 points that Kyle Busch is behind. So these two are trying to be the regular season champions so they can get the most points heading into the playoffs.
Marty.
Well, the day has looked easy for Alan Gustafson thus far, but now where the rubber hits the road, how do you feel about the car on long runs? Because it looks like it might be a long run to finish this race.
Yeah, the Napa Chevy's been pretty good. The pace is good all around. It's not bad on the long run. The 19's obviously pretty good too, so we made a few adjustments. Hopefully we can get a little bit better. But, I expect this, depending on how the cautions fall, to go to the end. But I think we're in good shape. It's going to be fun to watch, and I got to give my boy HAG shout out. Happy birthday. Hopefully we win it.
I asked him about that a moment ago in this restart. He said, that's what I'm a little worried about this restart, Kelly.
Well, let's see what the 19 crew chief thinks. That's Cole Pern, and this is starting to feel reminiscent of last year, the 9 and the 19 duking it out. But where do you think that your car is going to be a little bit better than Chase Elliott?
I think we've been a little bit stronger. Braking zones kind of first half the track. Chase is just really good in 6 and 7 coming to the front stretch, which leads into the passing zone. So kind of the same problem where our cars were different last year as well. So I don't know. Hopefully we can keep the pressure on and maybe force them to mistake and we can get it. It'd be a good one to get.
All right, restart's coming up. Thanks, Cole.
Well, we see Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. with the other driver that I think we all expect to run up front today. The 18 of Kyle Busch has been anything but smooth. The issues started early, spinning out, getting into turn 1, and then contact with the 24 riding around under yellow. And then this last incident right here, Bubba Wallace sends the 18 down into the corner. It was crazy. And now, Rick, you know why those crew chiefs seem relaxed? Because they're done working, unless their drivers hit something. These guys, it's going to be all up to the drivers these last 26 laps.
Coming up on 25 to go. Green flag back in the air. Elliott, Truex fighting into 1. Now a little contact as they go into turn 1. The 19 got into the 9. Now contact again. They rub again as they go into the S's.
Leaning on each other. Coming into turn 2, you got Truex and the 19 on the outside. You got Elliott now that's on the inside. They bang quarter panels again. They lean on each other in the S's. Elliott will slide through and keep the lead on turn 4.
Unbelievable to watch those two guys run side by side up through the S's. You're not supposed to do that. Here in the braking zone in the inner loop. Still single file, the 9-car Chase Elliott, a little bit of a gap here. Actually pulling away a big gap to that 19. Up there, Truex could have some issues with that car. The banging of the sides and so forth could have a tire rub or so forth. Let's keep an eye on that.
Denny Hamlin is joining the battle. Let's see if Denny Hamlin, what kind of pace he has. Elliott and Truex have driven away from the field all day long. But now Denny Hamlin in third spot. Let's see what he has for those two guys up front.
Yeah, the fight that's gone on between the 9 and the 19 has allowed the 11 to come into the battle. Kelly.
And the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. a little bit worried about damage to the right front fender, but the team has took a look at it. They said it's just wrinkled a little bit, and with the camber of the wheel, they're not worried about a rub just yet.
Was there a reason he drove me into 1?
Leaders clear turn number 1. Here they are in 2. You got Elliott and Truex, 1 and 2. Truex doesn't look like any smoke coming from that race car. Maybe okay as far as that tire rub is concerned, at least for now. Marty.
Hey, and Bagman, maybe a problem for Chase Elliott. Number 1, you heard the radio a second ago. Why did he door me coming into turn 1 on the restart? That's what he was talking about. And he just radioed the team right now. I may have a left rear going down. Alan Gustafson said he was worried about that restart. Jeff, that may have hurt them more than they know. As Chase Elliott hangs on to the lead, he's worried about that left rear.
Yeah, just aggressive restart. It's just hard racing. I didn't see anything dirty by either driver. I just saw two drivers trying to get in the lead to win this race. A little bit of contact up to these S's. You heard Junior say you're not supposed to do that. Well, this is very difficult. Surprised both of these drivers made it through here. It gets very narrow. Remember, you're going about 165, 70 miles an hour up through these S's. Very tough. Good job by those drivers, though. Nobody gave an inch.
Top three, Elliott, Truex Jr., and Hamlin. They have won the last 3 races here at the Glen. They run 1, 2, 3.
Keeping an eye on the 9 with that potential problem there while we watch Eric Jones go to work on Kevin Harvick. This is the battle for the 4th position. Looking back at trouble for Austin Dillon. Coming out of turn number 1. He'll loop his way across the curve. Trying to get that car righted. He does. Now that he's got it righted, he's got to get it going. And he finally does as that battle between Harvick and Jones continues into the inner loop.
Yeah, Jones gets into the braking zone and passes Harvick out of the inner loop into the carousel. Great move, great speed by that 20 car. We've seen speed from the 18 and the 11, his teammates all weekend, but Jones showing it now in the race.
Let's go back to turn 1 and see what happened. You see back here, Austin Dillon side by side with Ryan Newman. There's a little bit of contact around Austin went. It's turn 1, man. It's very difficult to get in there without having a problem.
So now Harvick chasing after Eric Jones in that 20. There you see the 18 and Joey Logano just behind him in the 22. Kyle Busch has had a very eventful day and right now running 23rd.
And recovering nicely, Rick. Up 6 positions since this last restart. 22 laps to go. I think there's an opportunity to get a few more as fast as that 18 is.
Jeff just told the story a few moments ago about the regular season championship between these 2 drivers right here. Logano has the advantage in the standings, but right now Kyle has the advantage on the racetrack. Once he's completed the pass around Logano, he's been able to pull away by about 5 car lengths as they exit the S's.
Yeah, that 18 car is going to try to climb through the field. The 22, Logano, been struggling all day long on speed. I think the damage that he got early in the race to that right front fender is actually causing that car a lot of problems and causing him to lack a lot of speed. But the 18 car, even as banged up as it is, looks like he's been racing around Martinsville. Still got a lot of speed in it.
Yeah, with that damage on the nose, you see the hood all buckled up. That's got to be really hurting the car. How the car drives, a loss of downforce for sure. Kyle Busch won't quit. He's been in the middle of the battle all day long, but one thing we know about Kyle, he'll put it behind him and go to battle, go get as many spots as he can.
And we take a look at the Toyota driver updates. The 18, even though he has been in so many issues, he's still competitive. You look at where Mark Truex Jr. running. Denny Hamlin, 2nd, 3rd, 4th for Eric Jones, 8th for Matt DiBenedetto. But the 18 just getting by David Reagan, and now he moves into 22nd.
Right now, Kyle Busch moving around David Reagan. And now that he's gotten into the 22nd position, next up for Kyle Busch will be Jimmy Johnson, but he's got a long way to go before he can catch the driver, the 48.
Yeah, it's amazing racing. I think this 18 car still has a great opportunity to get back into this battle. There it is, battle for the lead when we come back. There you have it, the battle for the lead. Chase Elliott still pretty comfortably out in front of Martin Truex Jr. He'd probably like to see that car get a little smaller in his rearview mirror as they head up to turn 6.
You're right, dude. Comfortable and mine are different, Junior. I think Martin Truex Jr. is dogging him. I think that Truex is a little bit faster, but Truex cannot make the ground in the areas that he needs to make them to set him up for a braking zone pass. That's how you make passes on a road course. Chase Elliott's going to have to be perfect with 19 to go, or Truex will take this spot.
Jeff, you couldn't have said it any better. It's all the areas leading up to the braking zones. The 19 is better. Look right here. He will close in on the bumper of the 9. Now he's only a couple car lengths, but this is the strength of Chase Elliott. Look at this climb up the hill. This combination of turns 2, 3, and 4. This 4 car lengths will turn into 5, will turn into 6, will turn into 7. That is Chase Elliott's buffer zone, because as they scream down this backstretch and head into the view of Dale Jr., Dale, the 19 outbreaks him every lap.
That's right. When they're off the gas and on the brakes, the 19 is catching the 9. When they're back in the gas, as far as accelerating out of this inner loop, the 9 pulls away. Again, into the carousel here. The 19 draws a little bit nearer, but then as they get back to the gas right here, on this point here, the 9 is safe. It's very comfortably driving away on corner exit.
Yeah, Truex, to make the pass on a road course, you've got to build momentum on corner exit, then outbrake the guy into the next corner. But you see Truex has closed the gap. In the technical part of the racetrack, Truex is faster. But in the fast parts of the racetrack, the 9's able to drive away and keep that buffer zone, keeping the 19 from being able to make that pass. Look at the short track, much he's gained on him, but then he gives it all back all the way up to the S's.
17 laps to go, and if you think back to 1 year ago, it looks a lot like what we're seeing here. The battle between the 9 and, at the time, it was the 78 for Martin Truex Jr. Remember, Chase Elliott said, I wheel hopped going into turn 1. He gave up a big lead that he had, but he was still able to hold off Martin Truex Jr. and get his first win. Martin Truex Jr. obviously frustrated, couldn't get by him. Well, is that frustration continuing today as he continues to dog the 9 around this racetrack?
Yeah, I think that the 9 is really good on new tires. He seems to be able to hold a pretty decent lead. Truex has to hope that on old tires, he's better. And we saw that maybe a little bit on the last run. If this continues on, maybe at the end of the race on old tires, he might have a better opportunity.
And we also don't know how much Truex is saving. Does Truex know that he's a little better on a long run? So don't push the issue right now. Let it get a little bit later in the run. Then go pull the trigger and see if you can make something happen. You never know what kind of games these drivers are playing.
And they're pulling away again from third. Chase Elliott out front. Martin Truex Jr. running second. Let's go through the field. We'll start with Marty.
And remember, we talked about Chase Elliott being concerned about that left rear tire after the contact on the restart from Martin Truex Jr. They have pictures of it. Obviously, it's gone this far. It is fine, but you do wonder if that contact will hurt them towards the end of this run. Again, the 9 feels like they're fairly weak towards the end of the run. Kelly's trying to become just the 5th driver ever to win back-to-back races here at Watkins Glen.
Martin Truex Jr. would like to put an end to that, but he says as he gets close to Chase Elliott ahead of him, it's like hitting a wall of air. 4 wins on the season for this 19 team. Martin would like to grab a couple of more, but more than that, they want to work on their consistency ahead of the playoffs. Behind him is his teammate Denny Hamlin, who comes here off of what they felt like should be back-to-back wins. They feel like they've got a top 3 car in week in and week out. And crew chief Chris Gabehart told me Denny is in the right frame of mind and he's been ready to race.
How about the run for Eric Jones sitting in 4th right now, Kelly? They started 14th. He steadily made his way through the field, and more impressively for them, they came in plus 39 above the cut line. Right now, it looks like they'll add 16 points to that, plus 55 as it sits, Kelly.
Well, how about the work of this 12 team for Ryan Blaney for the 2nd week in the row? They've had to start from the back of the field, and now they're poised for back-to-back top 10s, maybe even a top 5 for Ryan Blaney to use some strategy to get the track position, and Ryan's been able to hold on, Dave.
Kevin Harvick runs in the 6th position, qualified 15th, though. When I talked to the team this morning, they said, we just don't have the speed of Hendrick or of Gibbs. And I said, where? And they put it just about everywhere on the track right now. Kevin, a good top 10 run, Marty.
Dave, when I talked to Brad Keselowski this morning, he said our road course program really not where it needs to be right now. Honestly, we're just a top 10 car. He told me we should be a 7th to 8th place car today. Guess where they run right now? 7th. Keselowski running exactly where he predicted, Dave.
The 8th place car is Matt DiBenedetto. When I talked to Matt this morning, he said we definitely have a top 10 car. Maybe not the speed of Chase Elliott or Martin Truex Jr., but we could strategize ourselves possibly to a win. Well, he's had a lot of speed today, Rick.
Yeah, accurately calling where he was going to be running. He is in the top 10, running 8th as we go NASCAR nonstop. Under 12 laps to go. The Monster Energy Cup Series racing GoBowling at the Glen continues. Think about it. Well, while this battle is heating up here in the final stages, next week it's Michigan, one of the fastest tracks that NASCAR goes to. Again, that'll be at 3 o'clock on Sunday, NBCSN. And this is about as close as we've seen Martin Truex Jr. get to the 9 of Chase Elliott. He gets close right as they're entering the interloop, and he also gets close in turn 1. But take a look at this. He's not allowing that 9 to pull away anymore to those long lengths.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr. starting to apply a little bit of pressure. Again, he's faster in all of the slower zones. We got a little bit of lap traffic coming up. That could affect Chase Elliott as well. But Martin Truex Jr., again, as the run goes on with coming to 11 to go, I think that's where this 19 car gets better and better.
This is the closest we've seen him, Rick, to 19, 2 car lengths back. He's been making that up under braking. Will he look out? Will he stay in line into turn 1?
There can be no mistakes right now for either Chase Elliott or Martin Truex Jr. He is there, the he being Truex. He's about a car length behind Chase Elliott. They come to the entrance of the S's. They climb the hill now. Elliott's been fast through this portion of the racetrack, but Truex is staying with him. The separation is only 4 car lengths exiting turn 4.
That's got to be so frustrating for Truex to lose that much time up through the S's, because it takes away any opportunity to do any work right here. But there is some lap traffic, although minimal. There is some lap traffic that Chase Elliott will have to attack. And that will hurt him in those high-speed parts of the racetrack. That will be difficult through the high-speed aero parts of the track. But that's what Truex hopes becomes difficult for the 9 car.
And we keep talking about Chase Elliott. Could he make a mistake? But in the areas where Truex is better, that's where it's easy to make a mistake. So if he's trying to narrow that gap a little bit, driving into the corner a little bit too deeper could get Truex in trouble. So Truex is going to have to stay pushing hard, but too hard to get himself in a bad spot.
Turn 1 at Watkins Glen is so difficult. We've seen the best NASCAR road racers have issues here. We've seen Jeff Gordon losing in turn 1, Tony Stewart, today Kyle Busch. That entrance into turn 1 is so difficult.
Right now, both drivers get cleanly through turn 1. Both Chase and Truex climb the hill up to the S's. You see Cole Pern there just monitoring the progress. Now Alan Gustafson, probably some nail-biting time going on in the pit of the 19.
Yeah, if you're Chase Elliott's spotter, you need to be telling him, hey, the 19 is working his car harder than yours. Just don't make mistakes. Force the 19 to push the brakes, to push the tires. That will eventually give up. That will eventually equal out. That will eventually become your advantage. Keep calming that driver down that's leading that race. No mistakes.
I am absolutely amazed at how much faster these two cars are than the rest of the field. I mean, they have driven away by 6.5 seconds from Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is a top-notch race car driver, but these two on this day, they are just in their own field. Look, you can't even see Denny Hamlin.
And as we see the leaders come down the front stretch again, how about some other drivers that have had great days? You got Eric Almirola in 11th, Matt DiBenedetto 8th, Chris Buescher in 12th, Jimmy Johnson with his new crew chief was in that accident. He's recovered up to the 19th position, currently just inside the playoffs. I know it's not, great for the 48, but that's going to be their goal, having a decent day with 9 to go at Watkins Glen.
Saw Chase Elliott doing a great run coming out of turn 1, and he extends that up to the S's and pulls away now to a comfortable margin over Truex.
Yeah, just when we think Truex is closing that gap, seems like his car gives up a little bit. There you see Rick Hendrick looking on as his driver trying to pace this field. But Truex closes that gap, and it seems like he just works that car too hard, and that advantage and speed that he has goes away, and he has to back off and cool back down.
Yeah, you wonder if that's not what he is doing. We talked about it earlier. Could he be playing a little bit of strategy, saving a little bit of tire? You can see the gap. It just yo-yos. It goes up, it goes back. It's a little bit of lap traffic getting into turn 7. Will that affect Chase Elliott getting into 1?
So now the 19 has to focus on that back bumper of the 9 of Chase Elliott. The traffic has moved out of the way. So Elliott able to get by as he goes into 1. Again, trying to put perfect laps together every time. Again, 2 car lengths only separating these top 2. Under 8 laps to go.
Could Truex be turning up the wick? He's trying to maintain pace as Elliott bobbles just a tad coming uphill into turn number 3. But this is where Elliott legs it out. A lot of power under the hood of that 9 car right now.
Yeah, you see that 9 car move a little bit. You know that Truex saw that as well. He wants to try to put as much pressure on as he can. There you see Dad, Bill Elliott, coaching his driver along, coaching his son along. He's probably not saying much at all, to be honest with you, just staying off the radio, allowing that driver to concentrate. But if Truex is seeing any kind of bobbles out of that 9 car, he wants to put the pressure on.
Truex closed the gap this lap. There's no doubt. Truex was about 0.2 a lap quicker. So now you see he's gotten much closer into turn 6. Going to have a perfect 7. Not close enough yet unless Chase were to bobble to make a move into 1. He's going to have to inch himself up there. Going to be feet at a time over the next 8 laps.
A year ago, it was Chase Elliott looking for his first career win. This would be career win number 5. Can he hold off the charging Martin Truex with 7 laps to go?
Nerve-wracking time at Watkins Glen right now. As Stevie mentioned, we've got less than 7 laps remaining in this one here this afternoon, and we're coming to a part of the racetrack where Chase Elliott has flexed muscle all afternoon long. Time for Truex to do the same. If he wants to win this afternoon in upstate New York, it's time for Truex to get to the whip and get to it right now.
Chase Elliott looking in that mirror, sees the difference. Not that 19 car not getting any closer. I don't know if he's running as hard as his car's capable of. A little whiff of smoke there. They go do the carousel. You need different lines. The 19 closes quite a bit there in the middle of the carousel. We haven't seen that happen in several laps.
That 9 car has been diamond in the racetrack, running up the racetrack in the middle of the carousel, but he was higher that time than we've seen him. Are his tires starting to run off a little bit, and now he's going to have to adjust his driving style. If he keeps doing the same thing over and over and over, he'll get himself in trouble because his car is changing. He'll have to make the adjustments with the car changing.
The 19 is coming. He's getting more aggressive, closing the gap on the 9. Now, the gap between the two, just 0.3 of a second, Marty.
And for the 9 of Chase Elliott, he has strung together so many perfect laps, and the 19 will get close, but the 9 can reel him back out. I can echo what Dell Jr. said. Yes, Bill Elliott said about 20 words. That's about it today, Kelly. Right now, proud of his son in the lead.
Yeah, it's been really quiet on the 19 radio for Martin Truex Jr. as well. All I've heard Martin say is, I just get stuck here. He can make up the gap on the 9 to a point, and then it just seems to sort of stall out on the momentum.
Back to the interloop. He's just going to have to hope for a huge mistake by Chase Elliott. He knows it's possible. We saw it all last year. Both these drivers are making tons of mistakes on those last few laps. But I don't know that aero-wise he's at such a disadvantage behind this lead car. I don't think he can just drive up there and take the spot.
What was an advantage for Chase Elliott, though, in that carousel is now turning into a disadvantage. Martin Truex Jr. is entering closer to him in turn 6 every lap because Chase cannot get through the carousel as well as he did earlier. The goal now for Truex, equal out with him up to the S's. Don't lose ground, trying to just equal out with him.
Pressure greater now on the 9, trying to put perfect laps together. He's led 75 laps already.
Cannot make a mistake right now. Martin Truex Jr. looming large in the rearview mirror of Chase Elliott. High pressure situation for Chase with less than 5 laps to go. Junior, what's it like being in this position, knowing that this is a pressure-packed situation, trying to be mistake-free?
Well, it's almost impossible not to make mistakes. But these guys are the elite, 2 of the best we have out here. A soon-to-be champion and a former champion. We saw him last year have a terrific finish in this race. He's coming down. There's some lap traffic that could cause trouble for Chase. He changes his line a little bit, Jeff, in the carousel. You can see the 9 moving around. He's really working that car hard.
He changed his line a lot. He just wrapped the line that time rather than diving in the corner. Again, that's where Truex is strong. Truex is inching up. Lap traffic in front of him. Truex hoping the lap traffic. Oh, he gives away. Now, once again, Truex maintain right here. It's not a place to gain. Try to maintain from here all the way up to the S's, and you're better through the interloop and the carousel.
How aggressive will Martin Truex Jr. get? Will he put the bumper to the back of the 9? He's closed the gap. 4 laps of racing to go.
Chase Elliott's running for his life right now. Martin Truex Jr. has the wick turned up. It comes down to these 2 drivers for the win at Watkins Glen. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. up through the S's. Right now, Elliott is going to leg it out again. 3 car lengths the separation between the top 2.
Down this long back straightaway, braking zone again. Trying to get in there as deep as you can. Both drivers are. Wow, good Lord, I can't believe how deep. That hurt Truex. He got in there way too far. Lost a little bit of time on the exit of the carousel. Regroup now. Gaining back on Chase. Chase going to get a good exit here.
Yeah, that interloop, that charge by Truex into the interloop, that's what we were talking about. You have an advantage. If you try to get more of it, then you can make a mistake. He was already on the edge of the car's limit, just trying to get a little bit more, trying to win this race. It just overstepped it just a little bit. Still time, though, if he does everything perfectly.
3 to go for Chase Elliott. The win is out the windshield, not out the mirror. Focus ahead. Hit your marks. Don't make the mistake that lets the 19 capitalize. Force the 19 to push the issue. Make him be the offensive driver.
This battle for the win comes 9 seconds in front of Denny Hamlin, who rides in 3rd. All the attention on the 9. All the attention on the 19. Again, Elliott so strong up to the S's is going to pull away from Truex, get a buffer between himself and that 2nd place car.
Lap after lap after lap up through the S's, the gap is still the same. That's got to give Chase Elliott so much confidence as they only come the 2 laps to go. The 19 gains quite a bit through that interloop. Let's see what happens here in the carousel. Will the 9 run tight? He's going to try to run as tight as he possibly can here. Not widen out that center. Still gets a great drive off using tons of racetrack on exit.
Truex actually changed his line that time. He went up the racetrack, trying to mimic what the 9 of Chase Elliott's doing. He's close. 2 car lengths is the distance. He's got to be perfect. This corner right here, downhill, hard braking. Stab the throttle, hope the rear tires stick.
Just 2 laps to go, and a guy like DiBenedetto has made his way up into the top 10. He's running in the 7th position. Kyle Busch, after all the issues he's had, he's up to 11th already. But really the battle continues to be these top 2 and how close they are for this race win.
Less than 2 laps to go at Watkins Glen. Chase Elliott, crew chief on the left. That's Alan Gustafson. You saw Cole Byrne. They're cool, calm, and collected, and so are these drivers. They've got less than a lap and a half left to get it done here.
Bags, you asked me how hard it was to be mistake-free. It gets harder with each lap. Your arms are shaking. Your legs are shaking. Your heart's beating at 170, 200 beats per minute. There you see the 19 gaining a little bit through the inner loop. Chase trying to be mistake-free there. Little lap traffic, wide center here. Will that make any gain at all? And down this long straightaway, doesn't look like it's going to be a profit there.
Yeah, but Truex made a ton of ground up through that inner loop. Chase Elliott's going to have to stay aggressive. I know you don't want to make a mistake, but if you're not aggressive, that will force you into making a mistake, and Truex will be there. Truex is fast enough where to win this race, Chase Elliott's got to tackle this last lap, not protect.
Coming up on 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank.
7 corners, 2.5 miles. Chase Elliott must remain perfect. A smooth turn 1, and then the most important climb, 54 feet up the S's. He must be perfect.
This is for all the marbles here at Watkins Glen. The crowd and the S's have come to their feet. Chase Elliott up the hill for the final time this afternoon. Looks in the rearview mirror. 4 car lengths of separation. Chase Elliott leads the way up the back straightaway for the final time.
Like he has time and time again, he has a decent lead on Truex coming into the braking zone here. What, if anything, can Truex do differently? He charges into this inner loop within a car length and a half. Can he maintain that on exit? Not so much. Back to 3 car lengths. He charges again into the carousel. There's just nothing he can do about how good this 9 car is getting out of the corner.
Chase Elliott has been perfect on these last 20-some laps. Just done a great job. 2 more corners left. Don't overdrive. 6. Hit your marks. Truex trying to make ground on him. Chase Elliott driving away.
Coming into turn 7, the final turn. The 23-year-old from Dawsonville got his first win at this racetrack and has been dominant today. He's going to win again at the Glen.
Go, boys, let's go! Great job, Brown. Great strategy.
80 laps led today of a 90-lap race. Won the pole, gets his 2nd win this season. What an impressive run Chase Elliott has put together, and this really has become his best racetrack.
I didn't think he could repeat or even improve on last year's performance. Those closing laps were so breathtaking, but Martin Truex Jr. held him to perfection again today. Never more than a second, never more than 6 or 8 car lengths off his rear bumper. Chase Elliott, lap after lap, corner after corner, a perfect final fuel run here at the Glen.
You know, we mentioned the 80 laps led. That's the 2nd most laps led here ever by a driver. So Chase Elliott really put on an incredible performance for everyone as he's going to do a little celebration.
Right here in front of his dad. That's pretty cool.
And you remember last year, he ran out of fuel. Ran out of gas trying to get back to celebrate in front. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson had to push him back. This victory fueled by Sunoco. Looks like he's going to have enough today. Fuel your best.
Dale Jr. mentioned it earlier in the week. He said when you come back to where you got your first ever win, I think it was during qualifying, you instantly feel great. Well, this is, as you mentioned it, definitely become his best track. Junior, what a confident drive for this 23-year-old.
Yeah, looks like a veteran. I mean, he's becoming a veteran right here in front of us. And I think that's as much pressure as you can put yourself in as a driver. Being chased down by a champion who's been amazing at the road courses the last several years, and he did not make one single mistake.
I think the lessons learned from last year's battle, right? He made that mistake in turn 1 late, got away with it, but This year, no mistake. He's going to do an awesome burnout right in front of me. Lighting them up. Fans in the grandstands over here on their feet cheering. Fans poured out of their motorhomes to come see what was going on over here. That was awesome to see.
What a show we have seen out of Chase Elliott. We mentioned how the performance really almost unmatched. Just the 5th driver to ever win back-to-back races at the Glen. Joins an impressive list, too, with Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, one of the best on road courses, and Marcus Ambrose. And now Chase Elliott has added his name to the list, and Mr. H is going to celebrate with him this time. Saw Rick Hendrick walking his way to victory lane. And will this be burnout number 3?
Just an aggressive parking job. I was impressed. I like how he spun it around, facing his crew.
He'll climb out, and once again, the fans appreciate that performance. Win number 2 in 2019. Talladega was the first win he got this year. You just heard him ran out of gas again.
Little buddy. Good job, buddy.
It takes a team. And right there you saw Chase Elliott thanking his team. But the driver put on a performance of a lifetime. Right.
Rick, you're not kidding. The performance of a lifetime, not only getting the pole, but leading 80 out of those 90 laps. Chase Elliott, you have won at Watkins Glen again. Congratulations.
Freaking wild. Thank you guys. That was freaking awesome. I feel like I've never been so far from home and felt like I was at my house. So thank you. Y'all are awesome. What a day, man. Such a fast Napa Camaro, and these guys called a great race. Just stayed mistake-free, and Martin was a little quicker. I felt like those last 2 runs, but the track position was king, and didn't mess up into 1 this time, so that was good. So just a huge thanks to everybody that makes this happen. Mr. Hendricks here today, and just a lot of people that obviously have got me at this point. Wish my mom and my grandmother were here today, but I can't wait to see you guys when we get back home. Love you.
And 3 burnouts. You really put a show on for these fans. They're out here supporting you every single time. What do you want to say to them?
Just thank you. I'm sorry I ran out of gas again, so I'd have done more, but it happened. So just thank you. Like I said, you guys are awesome, and I've never felt like I would have never thought a New York race would have felt like home, but you guys did that, so thank you.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks.
Kelly?
And so for the 2nd year in a row here at Watkins Glen, Martin Truex Jr. comes up just short, runner-up. And Martin, as you were hunting Chase down, I could hear you say it was like hitting a wall of air as you got close to him. What more could you have done?
Yeah, I tried to do all I could. You know, Chase, he did an excellent job, and just not making mistakes. And really all I could do was get to 2 car lengths at 1.5 at the closest in braking, and just try to force a mistake. But he hit his marks. His car was really fast in the key areas that he needed to be. Leaving a few of the key corners, so I just couldn't get a run on him, and just was kind of stuck there. So unfortunate, but our Bass Pro Camry was really, really fast today. I mean, we passed quite a few cars there that were fast and finished up front. Just couldn't pass that last one.
Just another incredible top 2 finish for you guys on a road course. What does it say about this team?
We enjoy the road courses. Cole and James and all the guys really understand what I need here, and honestly, we weren't as good as we needed to be yesterday, and we made some changes after practice, and definitely in the right direction. Just wish we could have been just a tiny bit better. But really, it was all about restarts and track position. And if I could have just got by him on that last one, we would have set sail, I believe. But we didn't, and he won, and he did a good job. And overall, it was a good weekend for us.
Martin, thank you.
A lot of respect there from Martin Truex Jr. Definitely one of the greatest on-road courses. But he went up against a young man who has had so many troubles over the past 7 weeks, hasn't finished in the top 10, wanted to shake that issue that he had Well, he does it in convincing fashion. Dad was celebrating. He was very happy about Chase Elliott getting his second win of the season and his second win at Watkins Glen.